Anthony, I don't have nothing up, babe. It's not me. Shalom. Welcome to Ruach and Emet, The Perspective. The views and opinions expressed are those of the guest and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of Ruach and Emet. Any content provided by our guests or authors are of their perspective and are not intended to malign any religion, ethnic group, club, organization, company, individual, or anyone or anything. The purpose of this broadcast is to provide education and a thought-provoking conversation or discussion. All right, shalom. Welcome to The Perspective. We're so happy to finally be live and get ready to just have this amazing conversation about, are we eating ourselves to death? I know that sounds like a scary topic, but and also a topic that is going to require some maturity, but nevertheless, it's going to be super, super informative. Lots of information shared, be it new, be it enhancing, or also just being a reminder for some of us who may continue already in the type of journey that may be presented before us. But nonetheless, before we get started, we wanted to do a few commercials before we have our guest speaker come on, holistic counselor Tim King, who will give his whole introduction of himself soon. But we wanted to go ahead and do a few commercials. Are we going to do videos first, or?
You can do this. And then...
Okay, so the first brief interlude before we start is we wanted to share about the Body Balance. This is a skincare and body care product based company where we promote healthy ingredients going onto the skin and into the body. So we here are just showing you all two of our amazing baskets that we currently have retailing on the Body Balance at www.thebodybalance, THEBODDYBALANCE.com. And so this is our basket that we are selling for our men. And here you're going to have a wonderful hip and face beard wash. You're going to have the hemp 100% hemp toner that goes in the line with the men's line, as well as the men's beard balm. And for our men, we have a nice, let me see if you can see that nice inscription of our logo, the Body Balance. Along in this basket, you will have, you want to zoom in? So this is the beard balm. The men's line comes with a nice engraved inscription of our logo, the Body Balance. And on the bottles here, you have where it says the Body Balance, all of your ingredients, instructions and everything are in here. Also included in the men's ultimate kit, as well as our hemp and shea nourishing body wash and the whipped body butter that goes together very well with this product. So this is our men's ultimate kit basket that you'll find on the website. And then here is another basket as well with women's products, and it's going to be more so geared for brightening and evening of complexion, as well as hydrating the skin. So again, this you can find on thebodybalance.com, and along with a slew of other products as well. But here we're currently promoting the two baskets that we currently have on the website that are new and recently launched, and so you can check that out. We'll put that in the chat for those who may want to check out the website to see what all the Body Balance is offering. Again, we are a product based service right now for skincare and body care products, and hope to increase our avenue and lanes in regarding to branching off into other things like apparel and supplements and things of that nature. So feel free to check out thebodybalance.com. And then we are going to go to a commercial video really quick. This is going to be something for my business. I am a licensed esthetician, and so I have at my business currently am hosting a service called Ujima Kidpreneur Youth Empowerment Services. And what this is opportunity is doing is allowing our youth, our young girls from ages 8 to 18 years old, to have a space where they are slightly being an esthetician for a day, but not limiting them to think that only aesthetics is the avenue that they can take for entrepreneurship, but to promote entrepreneurship and even corporate entrepreneurship. And what that simply means is one may desire to work for a corporate company, but they want to help the corporate company advance in areas or systems and avenues that they're creative with, and they have the sole ability to do that as an entrepreneur, but working for a corporate company, and they, share a part of that revenue with the company. So what Ujima Kidpreneur Youth Empowerment is, working collective with the youth in my current environment to help them become confident, to help them learn about their skills, and hopefully they will be able to captivate their purpose, or their purpose will be enhanced, whatever that may be. And so a mother and daughter will book a service, and they will have the opportunity where she's going to allow her daughter, her niece, whomever she's booking for, to be able to provide a facial service on her. And in doing so, she's able to practice her skills that she has and so forth to help her become confident as a young lady. Most importantly, allow that mother and daughter bonding time in the treatment room at Be Unique Beauty. So without further ado, let's go to the commercial. Really? Room at Be Unique Beauty. So without further ado, let's go to the commercial. Come experience this limited time offer, Ujima Kidpreneur Youth Empowerment for girls ages 8 to 18 years old. This amazing opportunity to bond as mother and daughter will allow our young kidpreneur to be educated, empowered, and entertained. Come esthetician for a day. Limited time offer, hands-on training experience. It is custom tailored to fit the interests of 8 to 18 years old. To inspire, amazing, motivate, and bond as mother and daughter
skills will allow our young entrepreneur or be educated, empowered, and entertained. This service is offered as a one-day pass or two-day pass opportunity. It is custom tailored for you 8 to 18 brought to you by this amazing motivate and serve mother, daughter, body balance, our young entrepreneur or be educated, now available for booking. This service is offered as a one-day pass or LLC.J custom tailored for you 8 to 18 brought service by this amazing motivate and serve mother, daughter, body balance, our young entrepreneur or be educated, now available for booking. This service is offered as a one-day pass or LLC.J custom tailored for you 8 to 18 brought service by this amazing motivate and serve mother, daughter, body balance, our young entrepreneur or be educated, now available for booking. This service is offered as a one-day pass or LLC.J custom tailored for you 8 to 18 brought service by this amazing Come experience this limited time offer Ujima Kidpreneur Youth Empowerment for girls ages 8 to 18 years old. This amazing opportunity to bond as mother and daughter will allow our young kidpreneur to be educated, empowered, and entertained with an esthetician for a day kidpreneur hands-on training experience. It is custom tailored to fit the interests of each kidpreneur to inspire, motivate, and preserve her unique skills that will hopefully reveal or confirm her potential purpose. This service is offered as a one-day pass or two-day pass opportunity. Ujima Kidpreneur Youth Empowerment is brought to you by Be Unique Beauty LLC and its partners, the Body Balance and Sustainability and Resource Hub. Now available for booking at www.beuniquebeautyllc.janeapp.com. We look forward to servicing our young girl kidpreneur soon here at Be Unique Beauty.
All right. So, guys, sorry about the delay and the technical difficulties there with the sound, but we are all good now. There should be no echo. But as always, as we continue to do these broadcasts, we'll get better with our production as far as broadcasting it out. And so we thank you all that are joined in now via YouTube, via Zoom, and via those people that are in person here as we currently speak. So without that, without any further delay, we'd like to introduce our guest speaker for tonight. He is well-versed, well-knowledgeable in the area which he will be speaking on tonight. And we all want you guys to be ready, prepared, have notebooks out, have everything that you need out to be able to take down information and anytime you guys have questions, feel free to put them in the chat on the YouTube. And also those you guys that are here in person, if you guys have questions, feel free to write them down or just kind of put them into your notes, and then we will answer them as we go about. And we'll have a last second at the end. We'll do like a Q&A. So we'll have a time for you guys to ask as many questions as you need to, and we'll keep that within that. So without further delay, our guest speaker for tonight is Tim King. He is a holistic counselor, and here we are, Tim King.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
You can move your mic back just a little bit like that so make sure you pick you up. Yep. Oh, good. All righty. So for those of you guys that was able to see or look at the flyer, on the flyer it had a particular question on there. And of course, we can go into many different realms of what we're going to talk about in different areas within it. But I think for tonight, this question is important, not only for the generations that are growing up, but also for those that are even in their older ages. They can still take hold of their health, because as they always say, health is wealth, and it all goes together. The healthier you are, the longer you live, and the more you can be able to do in life when you're healthy. What is a body that can function? What good is it? So the question we have tonight is, are we eating ourselves to death?
How you all doing today?
All right.
And my name is Tim King. I'm a holistic counselor. I'm a certified herbalist. Right now I'm in a place of being a registered herbalist, because technically by law you cannot be a certified herbalist. You cannot be certified as an herbalist in the United States on a state and federal level. So, but you can become a registered herbalist, and I'm in the process of doing that as well. And yes, to answer your question, we are eating ourselves to death, and it's not just what we eat; it's how we eat, how much we eat, and of course, of what we eat.
Okay.
And the biggest thing that we have right now are food deserts. We have a lot of food deserts, especially in Chicago.
Yeah.
And what is a food desert? It's just a bunch of, restaurants and areas, certain areas where that you can't go and get good quality food. And that's a problem that we have today, and not only in Chicago, but around the world. And a lot of our foods is processed. They're highly contaminated with herbicides, pesticides, insecticides. A lot of our foods have a lot of different emulsifiers and synthetic chemicals and things of that nature that's in our foods as well. So
is your mic blinking? Just a second, guys. I want to make sure our sound check is good. Is it blinking, or push that button? All right. Is it steady?
yeah.
All right. Perfect. That should be able to hear him now. You can project a little more if you need to.
Okay.
So if you guys couldn't hear him, I know it's kind of low. We just wanted to make sure that you guys can hear. Give us a thumbs up if you can hear him now. Go ahead and just say your name again.
Tim King, can you guys hear me?
All right. Let's see our feedback here.
On the gallery.
Yeah, should be able to hear you good now.
Okay.
All right. So, like I said, if you guys weren't able to hear some things we're going to go over, he just kind of gave like a little rundown based on the question that I asked. And then I think I want to kind of park on this part where you was talking about food deserts within our communities. Not only food deserts, but as we see, particularly in Chicago, and I'm sure it's like that in every urban community or even communities that's dealing with our people, right? What you will have is restaurants, as far as things that is not as healthy for us on each block, right? And so talking about food deserts, and if you want to kind of expound on that a little bit more about what these food deserts are about, and also how it affects us when it comes to even how we eat.
Right.
So go ahead.
Well, the food desert, it affects primarily the Black community. And this is my opinion, because if you go out to a lot of our Black neighborhoods, to the neighborhoods where it's predominantly, minority, quote unquote, when technically we are the majority.
Right.
But when you go to these predominantly Black neighborhoods, these food deserts where you can't go and find healthy foods. Most of these restaurants or even the grocery stores that we go to, it's just a lot of highly processed foods.
Yeah.
And you walk around these areas, you drive around these areas, and is even in the area that I live in, it's just so hard to find good quality, healthy foods compared to where if you used to go somewhere up north or somewhere further north. You have a lot more options to choose from, to where you can go and, find different restaurants that you can go in and enjoy yourself and eat healthy and have healthy choices when it comes to eating certain type of foods, whether it's fruits, whether it's vegetables, et cetera, et cetera. And it's real bad, especially in the Black community, when it comes to these food deserts. We just don't have those options. And then we have to drive further away to get good quality food. Or if we want to go somewhere and get a plant-based meal, we have to drive 10 miles away to get that. So it's imperative that we get these type of establishments inside of our neighborhoods, so the Black community can have that option to go, and if they want to eat healthy or start to just want to put themselves in a position or have that choice to want to eat healthy. So we definitely have to do that, and just it has to start with yourself first, because you can't force someone to eat healthy. A person has to want to change themselves. You can't force someone, just like you can't force an alcoholic to go to rehab. They have to want to go to rehab. That's the only way that the rehab will be successful. That's the only way a person will be able to sustain life, if they want to change themselves. And if you don't want to change yourself, that's totally your option. But the way that we are now, the way that the economy and the world is set up, the only thing you have is your health. And you need your health. Health is wealth. And you can have all the money in the world. If you don't have good health, you're not going to be able to enjoy it.
Now think about this, because we're talking about, we're dealing with, are we eating ourselves to death? And I made it as a broad question because some people can say, man, I'm eating fruits and vegetables and I'm drinking water and I'm exercising and I'm doing these things. But when I'm eating, right, and this goes into a point of dealing with GMO.
Right.
Because you can be eating fruits and vegetables, but if it's GMO, it's just like
what's the point?
Yeah, what's the point?
Yeah.
So that's another part of this big dilemma, because we might have Walmarts, right? Which most Black people know about Walmarts.
Exactly.
Right? But it's not good produce there.
Yeah.
And if it is produce there, it's GMO, more likely.
More than likely.
Seeds and all those other things. So if you want to kind of talk about that, like the effects GMO have on our bodies.
The genetically modified fruits and vegetables that we consume, you have a lot of people that think that eating seedless fruits is healthy for you. And it does a lot of alteration in the body, especially when it comes with the blood, because life is in the blood. Without blood, without oxygen, you can't live. You won't be able to be here. So, and I also say that with saying that when it comes to seeds, if you was to eat a seedless watermelon, once you eat that watermelon, you can actually take that seed. A lot of the seeds in watermelons are actually healthy for you. They're full of amino acids and minerals and things of that nature. Now, I'm not expecting to a lot of people to eat the seeds in a watermelon, but you can eat those seeds in a watermelon, or you can take that seed and you can grow another watermelon. You can't do that with a seedless watermelon because the seeds that they use are sterile. Anything that's in that watermelon, when it consists of a seed and it's not the black seed, it's sterile. And anything that's sterile can't procreate itself.
That's it.
So we're eating fruits and we're eating vegetables when it comes to this genetically modified fruits and vegetables. And they're doing this for a reason. They're not just putting genetically modified fruits and vegetables out here just because.
Right.
They're doing it for convenience, because everyone likes convenience.
Right.
Where you can eat a fruit, you don't have to spit out the seeds. That's more of a convenience for people, especially when it comes to younger children. Like the cuties, the oranges. It's a genetically modified orange. It doesn't have a single seed in it, but it's okay for the kids to eat. You just peel it, give it to them. It's sweet. It's sweet. So it's sad to a point to where we have to go to several different stores just to find seeded grapes, to find seeded watermelons. Everything now is genetically modified. You got seedless cucumbers, seedless watermelons, seedless oranges. You got seedless lemons now. You got everything is practically seedless now. And the Most High will never, ever create anything that cannot procreate itself. And a lot of us think that eating these things is healthy for us, and it's not to a certain degree. When you eat a lot of seedless, for instance, a seedless watermelon, you can get a lot of the phytonutrients and minerals out of the juice.
Right.
But when it comes to eating the flesh, you're not getting anything from that. And it alters a lot your DNA in the body when you're eating a lot of these genetically modified foods. A lot of people think it's healthy. It's okay to eat these things, but we're supposed to eat fruits with seed. A woman has a seed. A man has a seed.
Yeah.
When you have a child, that becomes your seed. So while we're eating fruits without seeds, we're able to procreate.
Yeah.
A man and a woman are able to procreate.
Now I'm about to go as you talk about this, because what we eat, it correlates to everyday life.
Most definitely.
So I want to hit that just a little bit, and like I said, feel free to flow how you want to flow. Like, this is the perspective, and it's good for people to hear the perspective of different people in various different backgrounds when it comes to health. Because on one spectrum, we have doctors out there that are going and seeking to find a holistic way of, being a practice to their clients, right, or their patients,
right.
And then you have doctors out there just in it for the money, right? So, from your perspective, and you knowing this, and the education that you have already taken on, and even the education you continue to go into, you can, in a sense, how we use the word, you can rightly divide and say, okay, this is killing us. This is what we know that is going to bring life and continue to bring life, healthy life,
right?
And so, since I'm talking about that perspective, knowing what you're talking about now, we're talking about GMO, we're dealing with the food deserts. Last week, or I won't say not last week, but the week before, we had a guest speaker on. We was dealing with biblical healing, right? And there was a question brought up, and he was talking about the estrogen. Thank you for that. And how that correlates with what we're eating as well, because if you're eating so much of that, particularly men, what it does to our bodies.
Most definitely.
Right. And we then become a point to, we begin to not procreate.
Exactly.
Or have children.
Exactly.
It may become more feminine.
Exactly.
And we can see it more and more because what we're eating.
Exactly. There's a lot of the food that we eat, specifically bottled water. When it comes to estrogen, a woman is predominantly estrogen. A man is predominantly in testosterone. Well, a man and a woman both produce estrogen and testosterone. Women are more dominant in estrogen, men are more dominant in testosterone. And it hurts particularly our women when it comes to estrogen, because when you're intaking a lot of synthetic estrogen, which was in a lot of our it's in a lot of our bottled waters, it's in a lot of our processed foods. And this is why you have so many women that's dealing with fibroids, tumors, cysts, PCOS. A lot of that is due to estrogen. Estrogen is a cellular proliferator. It grows things. So if the woman's body naturally produces estrogen and you're intaking all of this synthetic estrogen from the food that you're eating, guess what? Now you're developing all of these fibroids, and it's going to grow that fibroid. That fibroid is going to continue to grow and grow
and grow, because it's a cellular proliferator. It's going to grow the fibroid. So a lot of the meats that we eat, the chicken, the beef, the pork, a lot of that has synthetic estrogen in it as well. And that's how they're able to blow up a lot of these chickens and a lot of the different meats that we eat. And these chickens are able to lay eggs rapidly, real quick, because of the estrogen. You ever been to Church's Chicken?
Church's Chicken?
Yeah, Church's Chicken. You ever seen a thigh connected to a wing or something like that?
Yeah.
It's crazy when you look at the foods that we're eating, and a lot of us don't really pay attention to it. You know, we just eat, you know, and we don't cleanse, we don't detox, we don't fast. And my biggest thing is that you can't avoid everything. Yeah. Just the type of world and the society that we live in. You can walk outside your door and all you see is all these different fast food restaurants. So it's very, very hard. Well, I wouldn't say hard. It's difficult for a lot of people to want to change their eating habits because you have so much outside source that's convincing you to come to this burger spot, you know, come get this these wings and these chickens and these Polish sausages and these fries. That's an addiction. Yeah. A lot of us have an addiction and don't even know it. You know, a lot of us are addicted to the foods that we eat every day because, of course, these are the foods that we were raised on. You know, our grandmothers and grandfathers taught us how to eat. You know, our mothers and our fathers taught us how to eat. So it's time to put ourselves in a position where we can educate our children and show our children the best way to eat so they can grow up and have longevity and have sustainable lives when it comes to eating certain things. Because a lot of our diseases are not genetic. What's genetic is the diet
that we pass down.
Exactly.
And so we have a question in the audience too. So I don't know if I don't want to go too far off the point because it's probably on one of the things you said. So we have a question in the audience. You want to take it? Feel free to do so.
My question is, can you talk about organic? Everything now I'm seeing is organic or they got non-organic. So and most people think the organic is better. I'm saying it's not better because you're seeing more of it. So the production of it to get that more product on the shelf is just as bad as the regular fruits and vegetables or even meats that we're seeing. Can you speak on that? Is that the same as having? Is it line is the same as seed and seedless?
I mean, I agree with you when it comes to organic. At the end of the day, we don't know, and they're slapping organic on every single thing. You know, everything is organic now. You know, and you never really 100% know. You know, so you get a lot of individuals that say, well, get the fruits with the certain stickers on it, the number 5 or the number 9. You know, I like to be honest with people. And honestly, a lot of people don't go inside of the grocery store and pay attention to those stickers. And it's almost to a point where, and I'll be honest with you, sometimes I don't. A lot of people don't have the time, don't take the time. And a lot of times when we go inside of these grocery stores, it's very, very seldom you'll see some fruit with a certain number or a sticker on it that say, well, this is organic, this is not organic. Most people are not looking at that. They're not paying attention to that. And a lot of people don't have time to do that because now, we're in the grocery store, we're not trying to spend an hour, 2 hours inside of the grocery store. We want to try to go in and get what we're going to get and we're going to come out. But this organic thing is just, I put it like this. If you're not growing your own fruits and vegetables in your backyard, or if you have your own farm, you would never, ever 100% know. So whether it's commercially, whether these fruits or vegetables are commercial or whether they're organic, you don't know. You can slap a sticker on anything and say, well, this is organic, you know, so you don't know. So the best thing you can do is to take that fruit, take that vegetable, go home, get you some baking soda, some water, let it sit in there for about 5 or 10 minutes. Try to get as much of the herbicides, pesticides, insecticides off the fruits as much as you can and eat that fruit. It's going to be much better than eating pork, red meat, chicken and things of that nature. So you're still going to get your phytonutrients, minerals, trace minerals, antioxidants, and things of that nature, because these are things that you need. Our body needs minerals, and this is where diseases start to manifest in the body because of mineral deficiency.
My next question, and then I'm passing on. Is this on? My next question is salt. I'm noticing now they're saying the pink Himalaya salt is better than the regular kosher salt. Can you speak on that? And then we're going to land back on that, those mineral things. We're going to come back to that because you're right, that is very important to the body.
Most definitely. Now, when it comes to salt, the body needs salt. But when it comes to pink Himalayan salt and the iodine salt and the kosher salt and the sea salt and all of these different things, pink Himalayan salt is, to me, the best salt because it still has phytonutrients and minerals and amino acids in it. Now, when that salt becomes white, for instance, iodine salt, you have a lot of people with iodine salt in the house. That's a highly, highly processed salt. And that salt, that's the salt that we should not be consuming. That salt is very, very bad for you. And when it comes to salt, we know salt is very dehydrative. It will dehydrate the body. And you'll see a lot of people consuming a lot of salty foods, or even a lot of your different seasonings have a lot of different salt in it. And it dehydrates the body, it dehydrates the muscles. And these are the type of salts that you don't want because it has absolutely no nutritional value, none whatsoever. Now, your pink Himalayan salt, it still has its nutritional value. And what a lot of people don't understand when it comes to things of color, it has nutritional value. A lot of things that doesn't have any type of color does not have any nutritional value.
The same with sugar and flour.
Exactly. When it comes to processed sugar, white refined processed sugar has no nutritional value at all.
So you pretty much saying stay away from white products.
Stay away from a lot of the highly processed white products when it comes to white rice, white bread, white flour, things like what else? Did I say white rice? Yes. The best rice you can eat is forbidden grass. It's wild rice. Why? Because wild rice has all of its nutritional value still intact. And what is the color of wild rice? It's black. It's black. Exactly. It's black.
They call it duck rice.
Yeah. In the same way, same thing with your fruits and vegetables. Your fruits and vegetables have color to them. All of your fruits and vegetables pretty much have color to them. And this is what makes your vegetables and your fruits so nutritious, because of the color content in those fruits. The soil that it grows in plays a big part. Where it grows plays a big part. And if you're not taking care of your fruits and vegetables and you're spraying all these herbicides and pesticides, and this is how cancerous cells and all these different things manifest and develop inside of the body because of these herbicides, pesticides, insecticides, and it's sad to a point where it's like, what do I do? Where do I go? What do I eat? And that's why we have a big issue right now, is because that a lot of people, they don't know where to start. They don't know where to go. And a lot of people just like, well, at some point in time, I'm gonna die, so I'm gonna just eat whatever I want to eat. It's sad, but you have to start from somewhere, and the reason why I talk about these things is because I'm a living testimony of it. I had Graves' disease roughly about 6 years ago. And I had Graves' disease, had Graves' disease about 6 years ago. And at the time that I was diagnosed with Graves' disease, I didn't know what it was. And I was on medication for about 7 years. And at the time I was about 24 at the time. And, I'm doing everything doctor tell me, take your medication, get the refill. But I asked myself, if the prescription medication is supposed to work, why am I constantly getting refills?
That's the question.
Why I gotta constantly get refill after refill after refill? And it's been 7 years and I'm still taking this medication. So I had to sit down and ask myself, like, what can I do to change this? And I said like everybody else, I'm not doing that vegan thing. Nah, but I had to reinvent myself. And when I reinvented myself, I said, you know what? I'm gonna try this plant-based thing. I've never tried it before, and I said I'm gonna try it. I gotta
Do different, think different.
there you go. I have to try something different. And I was young at the time, so I really took on the challenge and I nosedived right into it. And I don't expect a lot of people to do that because it's very, very difficult to just nosedive into eating plant-based. You don't know what to eat, what to cook, what to go to the store and buy. And you are more prone to going back to your old habits when you don't take the time to educate yourself and take those baby steps. I always tell people to take baby steps. Don't nosedive right into it. First, take the pop out of your diet. That's a major step. Stop drinking all of these sodas. Take that out your diet. Okay, you got the pop, the sodas out of your diet. Okay. Now let's go to the syrups, to the sugars. Take the syrup out of your diet. Instead of using ain't your mama syrup, use the 100% maple syrup. These are small baby steps that you can take over a period of time. And then once you start to be proactive and you start looking up different plant-based recipes and you start incorporating these things into your everyday lifestyle, now you're like, okay, you go from one day to eating, drinking pop, and now you're not drinking that pop anymore. Now you're drinking fruit juice water. Instead of the pop, you're replacing that with real H3O2, with real fruit juice water. And that's more of a healthier choice. But to get back to the Graves' disease, when I started this journey, and this is why I love what I do, because I know it works.
Yeah.
And when I started this journey, I was on medication for 7 years, and within 18 months, my doctor took me off all my medication, but he gradually did it because I was at 10 milligrams of a certain type of medication. And then he reduced it from 10 to 5. Then I went from 5 to not taking it at all. And before I was having all these different side effects, hand tremors, heart palpitation, I'll be sweating for a long period of time, diarrhea, things of this nature. And this was all coming from if I didn't take the medication. Once I stopped taking the medication, then all those symptoms came back. But once I changed the chemistry in my body and I was able to regulate my thyroid to where it's supposed to be, all of the symptoms stopped. And then my doctor took me off all my medication, and I've been prescription pill free for 5 years now.
Hallelujah.
So I try to educate my people as much as I can and get them to understand that changing the chemistry in your body to a plant-based fruit lifestyle, it can really, really have some effects on the body, and effects on the body that you would not imagine. Everything starts to clear up. Your mind, mental starts to clear up.
Yeah.
Your sex drive is through the roof. Your everything starts to change. Your skin starts to change. Your bowel movement starts to change. Everything starts to change. And once you start to see that, it's like you can't stop because you're seeing so much improvement on your health. And this is why I love what I do, because I'm a living testimony of it. I know it works. And the most important thing is patience. A lot of us do not have patience. We don't have patience to eat right. We don't have patience to eat better. And it takes a lot of patience, consistency, and discipline. And that's something that has to be taught. That's something that people, I think a lot of individuals should take on. That should be a challenge. A lot of people do all these challenges.
Yeah.
That's a challenge. Challenge yourself to want to eat healthy and eat better. Be proactive. Someone taught you how to make that pot roast. Someone taught you how to make that macaroni and cheese. Somebody showed you how to make them ribs. You know, so be proactive so you can go out and educate yourself so you can know how to make more plant-based meals, not just for yourself, but for the children as well.
Yeah.
And if it's going to be hard for us, it's definitely going to be hard for your children if you haven't started them off when they were young.
Yeah.
Because they have all these different snacks and chips and they want it. You know, you want kids to be kids.
Right.
But you want to introduce them to new things. You know, my kids are not plant-based, you know, but I introduce it to them. You know, I get them to try different fruits, different vegetables, different, my son had a mushroom, fried mushroom. He thought it was chicken. And you know what? I didn't even tell him.
Right.
He said, this chicken is kind of good. And in the back of my mind, I was going to tell him like, nah, that's not chicken, that's a mushroom. But I didn't say anything to him.
Right.
You know, so you have to introduce your children to different fruits,
Right.
so they can be healthy, so they can grow up and they're able to teach their children how to eat. And this is how you get rid of the
Diseases.
genetically diseases that's passed down when most of your diseases are not genetic. Your diet is what's genetic.
Yeah. I think we had a question right there too, Tim. Tim.
Testing. Hey, namesake. Listen, we spoke upstairs, and I have several questions.
Mhm.
But I really want you to go back and talk about the H3, H2O, because we know that that's something with the proper nutrients and things that provide electrolytes for the heart and the skin, for the skin development, so that we won't be walking around here dehydrated.
Mhm.
However, I was listening at what you're saying, and there's so much truth in it, because, you know, me being in my 60s, you know, I grew up eating a certain type of food, you know, because my grandparents, they still in their backyard had gardens every year.
Mhm.
But, you know, the sad thing about it, when you get away from that and you're buying from the grocery stores, because see, in their time, my grandmother died, she was 94. They just couldn't go to the corner store and get these things.
Right.
They had to grow these things, so it became a way of life for them.
Right.
But now we go to the store and the produce and the products and things of that nature. I used to cook in the kitchen when I was in my teens. And man, it's gotten so terrible that you're absolutely right. When you go to the store, the fruit and the vegetables are almost ready to throw out before you buy them. You know, I mean, if you're not going home to eat them that day,
Right.
you'll have to toss them on in 2 or 3 more days.
Yeah.
You know, and the same thing with the eggs. And look at how much the eggs are going up. So my other question, and I want you to answer that H3, H2O. My other question was organic. Isn't that a word that they created in the 1940s?
Yes.
And it has nothing to do with the quality of the food.
No.
It was a word that they created so that so it's like a subliminal seduction, you know, wherein they can make people think this is better for you.
Yes.
So it was just a sales pitch or something of that nature, just to deceive the people.
It's a selling tactic.
There you go.
It's a selling tactic.
So it's like that. What's that in psychology? We use it, subliminal seduction. To make someone think that you're getting a better product.
Exactly.
And the thing about the watermelon seeds, when you let them dry and you grind them up, it makes good tea.
Yes. I thought I was
Check
the only
you
one
out.
that knew that.
Well, you know, I told you that's what told me to come over you, man. But me and Tim, we was talking upstairs, Tim and I. So I'm gonna back off right now because I could go on, man.
Most
But
definitely.
listen, hit that H3, H2O.
H3O2. When you're dealing with H3O2, you have 3 hydrogen molecules and you have 2 oxygen molecules. Now, when you're dealing with water, it's H2O, right?
Right.
So you have, excuse me. When you're dealing with H2O, you have 1 hydrogen molecule. No, you have 2 hydrogen molecules and you have 1 oxygen molecule. So when you're dealing with H3O2, that extra molecule and that oxygen, 3 hydrogen, 2 oxygen, It's what makes that water alkaline. And that water directly comes from your fruits. It's very, very, very hydrative to the body. You need that extra CO2. That body needs to be hydrated. The body is made of simple amino acids. What is a simple amino acid? A simple amino acid is hydrogen, oxygen, and I lost my train of thought.
Simple amino acids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A simple amino acid consists of 3 molecules:
Yeah, the hydrogen.
hydrogen, oxygen, and I swear I am. I don't know where that came from.
It's all right. Drink some water.
Yeah, let me get the water.
Yeah, they come back to you.
What you putting in me for, man?
The simple amino acids I'm about.
So you know what? That amino acid and amino fuel is what bodybuilders build muscles with.
Mm-hmm.
Because even when you mix it with human milk, female milk, and you mix those substances together, it makes a real good, because your body recovers quicker.
Right.
From, you've been to 300 pounds, squatting 6 something, your body is able to obtain, and it's able to say, hey, look, I know what this is.
Right.
Yeah.
So when you're dealing with an amino acid, what is an amino acid? An amino acid consists of hydrogen, oxygen, and carbon. What is the byproduct of carbon? Sugar. Our bodies need sugar, but we need simple sugars, not processed sugars. And this is where a lot of people get this sugar thing mixed up. They think that eating, when you go to the doctor don't tell you, he just specifically tell you stay away from sugar. And he don't tell you what type of sugar to stay away from. You have so many different types of sugar. You got sucrose, you got glucose, you got maltose, you got dextrose. You have so many different types of sugar, lactose, pentose. You have so many different types of sugar. So the sugars that we need the simple sugars. These are what you call simple amino acid structures. Our body needs sugar. We cannot function without sugar. Your pineal gland that sits right up here in your reptilian brain, your pineal gland produces melanin. The byproduct of melanin is carbon. The byproduct of carbon is sugar. Your DNA, deoxyribose nucleic acid, your DNA is made up of multiple sugars. So we need sugar. So, and then also when it comes to your cells, you have over 150 trillion cells in your body. When you eat glucose, in order for glucose to penetrate that cell, you have to produce insulin. So when that glucose enters the cell, the mitochondria digests that sugar, and that sugar, the mitochondria digest that sugar, and that sugar is what gives you ATP. ATP is adenosine triphosphate. That's what gives you energy.
Now I got a question. Can I jump in right here? Man said, well, it's the wrong sugars that clog up the adrenal glands and those things so that they don't function properly. Am I right or wrong?
Sugars and acids. And so what a lot of people don't know is that acids is the root cause of every disease. It's acids, not mucus. A lot of people think it's mucus. No, you need mucus. The body needs mucus. Without mucus, you wouldn't be here. So
Cools you down.
yes, that as well.
They're teaching us backwards because they say that it's the germs that survive off the mucus in your body. And that's how you get things like flus and colds and things like that.
But you are a germ. You're a germ. It tells you that in the scripture.
Well, thank you, brother.
You are made of the dust, the far, the minerals,
Yeah, you made
the
that,
chi, the cho, hydrogen, carbon,
I like that
oxygen.
in you.
You are, what is the Hebrew word for alien? Alien. I mean, Hebrew word for alien. Alien. So our bodies is made of bacteria. We need bacteria. And without bacteria, we wouldn't be here. You got over 150 trillion cells in your body. 100 trillion of them cells is bacteria. So you have to feed the bacteria what the bacteria needs. See, a lot of us, we eat because of what we want and not what we need. Your body is a vehicle. You have to treat this body like a vehicle, like a foreign car. You're not going to buy a Rolls Royce and take it to Grease Monkey to get an oil change. No, you're not gonna do that. You're gonna take it back to the Rolls Royce dealership to get an oil change.
Yeah.
You got a Rolls Royce, you're not gonna take it to Shell's gas station and put unleaded gas in it. You're gonna put premium gas in it. You're not gonna let Ray Ray work in the alley on your Rolls Royce. No, you're gonna take it back to where you got it from. So the way that we treat these cars is the way that we should treat our bodies. We have to put in our bodies what our bodies need and not what our bodies want. So if that car takes diesel fuel, you better not put no unleaded gas in it because it's not gonna make it too far. And that's the type of mentality that we have to have. And it can be difficult. I don't want to say hard. It can be difficult because of our environment and where we live and where we stay. It can make it very difficult to eat healthy. And then all of the things that you find in the grocery stores, you know, your fruits and vegetables are sprayed with this, are sprayed with that. And you got all these organic signs everywhere. And it's to a point where it's like, what do I do? You know, and I tell people all the time, if you don't know, if you're not growing your own fruits and vegetables in your backyard, you don't know. Yeah. So the best thing for you to do is to try your best is to eat as healthy as you possibly can. You know, are you gonna have your days where you wanna cheat? Of course, we all do. Yeah. You know, we have to be realistic about this. And a lot of people don't like to be realistic. Yeah. You know, you have a lot of people that's just out here and just say, eat this, don't eat that. Don't eat this, you know, do this, do that. And it's not a person out here that's education. Without the education,
they can't give you the reason why.
They can't give you the reason why. And then you get people that just think that they just doing everything by the book. And you may find a couple of people that's just on the straight path and a raw vegan, but you don't really have those type of people because of the environment that we live in.
Let me get to you right there, because it kind of goes back to what you were saying earlier, that it wasn't easy when you made the transition. Sometimes when people hear that, that's when they stop saying, man, I'm not about to go through all of that just to, when I can feel good when I'm eating, you know. And I think that's what the community or the environment, being around like-minded people, or if you're not even around them, but just having like a group set up where you can say, hey, I'm struggling today. What can I possibly do to help me with, you know, this feeling? Because I'm more likely, I'm sure that somebody else probably felt a certain way when they're making the transition on how they're eating, what they're intaking, what they're getting rid of. For yourself, what was that community that helped you, or how can I say this, that kept you going? Because you have to have something to drive you as well. Like as far as like, we look at the scriptures, but I shared this with Elder earlier, is that, you know, I was sharing with Kayla, and I'm sure she can ask some questions dealing with, because she deals with clients with skin, right? I can lay out everything for somebody and it can be all there. But just because it's there, and if you don't begin to intake it, it becomes internal. Everything that you're asking for won't get done. So internally, something had to happen where you had to say, have that desire to say, you know what, I have to do this. What community or what helped you keep on that path of getting to where you're at?
The passing of a lot of my relatives. That's what motivate me to keep going, keep pushing, because I have a lot of relatives that has passed away due to chronic illnesses and diseases. I don't believe in the concept of diseases, because disease, your body can be at dis-ease, but your body is not a disease. Your body is not in a disease state. Your body is in a condition, and conditions can be reversed. So they label everything with a disease. Oh, you got Graves' disease. It's not a disease. My thyroid is just out of whack. You know, so how can I regulate that thyroid to get it back to where it should be? Change the chemistry in your body. And what really, really motivated me is just the death of a lot of individuals in my family that I've seen pass away due to illnesses. And I'm giving a lot of my energy and effort to them, because I was able to open up my eyes and educate myself and really push myself because of them. And I didn't want to put myself in that position to where if I just ate whatever I wanted to eat, that I would end up like them. Yeah. With, kidney failure, or any type of cancer, colon cancer, kidney cancer, prostate cancer. I didn't want to go around and had that on my shoulders when I know I can make a difference myself. Yeah. Because you have to educate yourself. No one is going to, a lot of individuals is not going to push you to eat right, unless you get around the right type of people. And that's what really, really motivated me to keep going and keep pushing, was the death of a lot of my family members that have passed away due to health issues. Yeah. And I wanted to dedicate this to them. And my father was one of them. He didn't pass away, but he was diabetic, and that's what really, he was another reason that motivated me to keep pushing and keep going, because I wanted to help him. And I did. I didn't reverse his disease. He did that. I just sat down with him and I guided him in the right direction so his body can heal itself, so he can put his body back into a state of homeostasis, and that body can heal itself. Yeah. And it did. So that motivated me even more, and sometimes, I go back and I visit a lot of the grave sites of my relatives that has passed. And when I do that, that just gives me a clear conscience that what I'm doing is worth it. And a lot of people take their health for granted. Yeah. Because they're probably not dealing with anything right now. They feel good, they're fine, they're relaxed, but you don't never want it to get to a point where you get in your upper 40s, 50s, 60s, and now you start dealing with all these itises and oses and all of these aches and pains and inflammation, and it's all about preventative maintenance. Yeah. You want to prevent these things from occurring, because it can be painful. Yeah. A kidney stone,
I've heard people say
that's something you do not want to go through. That is something you do not want to go through. So it's all about preventative maintenance, preventing these things from occurring. Not saying that it's 100% of it can occur, because some things can go on, but you want to put yourself in the best position possible so you don't have to go through these things. Because you have to ask yourself, well, what give off gene expressions? A lot of people say everything is genetic. You have a few things that may be genetic, like sickle cell anemia, that can be a genetic trait. Yeah. But again, a lot of your diseases, it's not genetic. It's the diets that you're eating that's genetic. So what gives off gene expressions? Your environment. Not only the environment internally, but your environment externally. Yeah. What you're putting on your skin, what you're putting on your hair, the deodorants, the shampoos, the soaps, the lotions. We have to take all of these things and we have to look at these things as well, because now that's your outer environment. You have to understand, when it comes to the skin is the largest organ on the body. So anything you put on the skin, it absorbs it. Yeah. So it's not only internal, it's external as well. And it's not only food, it's the people that you're around as well. Yeah. Your environment is everything that's around you. You ever heard that Kendrick Lamar song, Please Don't Kill My Vibe? Yeah. Somebody can come in this room and just kill the total vibe. Yeah. It just throws everything off. Yeah. So when you get yourself around people like that, it's best just to get up, walk away, because you don't want to stress. And a lot of individuals don't know that stress is a silent killer. Stress will kill you dead. And that's part of your outer environment that you want to get away from, because you don't want to be stressful. Mm-hmm. Your job can make you stressful. Your kids can stress you out, and this all can be, most of the time it's it's normal, it's everyday life. Most of your diseases are stress related. Yeah. Diabetes, that's a stress related disease, because that pancreas is stressed out. You don't stress that pancreas out now. You know, so you have to be aware of your environment externally, internally, and the people that's around you as well.
Yeah.
All of this practice is good practice, not only for your health, but for your internal health as well. So you have to practice, you know, your good eating habits. You have to practice of having the people around you that's supposed to be around you, people that's gonna motivate you, people that's gonna bring good energy towards you. You want to have these people around you because it affects you. It's just like the sun. The sun has a direct effect on your emotions.
Yeah.
Certain people that's around you has a direct effect on your emotions. So all the negativity, you want to try to sweep a lot of that away as much as you possibly can, so you can be here and have longevity.
You said something, and Daniel said it last week. He brought out the Ivrit word dealing with meditation, and it means to sweep away.
Mm-hmm.
So literally, like your focus, you're
Yeah.
grounding yourself
Yeah.
in the scriptures, and that's where I look at it. Like, you know, even I'll use this for example. Hamashiach, when he was in the Garden of Gethsemane, right? He was sitting there, and he's telling the other disciples, stay awake with me for about an hour and just pray with me, right? Because what I'm about to go through, you see what I'm saying? Like it started to come out of his pores,
Right.
to the point where he began to sweat blood because it was so like the weight, the burden that was on him. And I correlate that because those that are around you can make that load a little lighter.
Most definitely.
Even when we talk about how you eat.
Most definitely.
If somebody's encouraged you, hey, don't eat that, just go get an apple or something, like you said. And then also, like, we going back to the food deserts, if we can make it more accessible, say, hey, I know that this particular elder or this particular person, they can't travel too far. So you know what? I'm going to bring certain things to them. I'm going to make myself accessible to be able to bring things to them, so they can be able to at least have a few meals in that week to be more healthier than what they usually eat.
Most definitely.
Just ordering Grubhub.
Take out every day. Yeah.
So Kayla, I don't know if you have something with that.
There's several things. So first, I want to acknowledge the question in the YouTube chat from T's Journey, and it says, "What about natural spring waters? We are visiting the historical, I believe you want to say, Mount Vernon Springs in North Carolina, and gathering the spring water. History records this water, or records this water as has healing properties."
When it comes to spring water is the best water you can drink, because spring water, it comes from the mountains. And when that water hits those rocks, all of those natural electrolytes and minerals come from those rocks. And again, water in its natural state is acidic. It's acidic by nature, water in its natural state. The only water that's not acidic is natural spring water. Or you can drink distilled water. But when you drink distilled water, you want to make sure you add a key lime to it to make it alkaline, because distilled water will rob the body of minerals. So you can drink distilled water, just make sure you add a key lime to it. Get you a key lime, cut it in half, squeeze that key lime up in there, or make sure that you're getting you some natural spring water, because all of the tap water and a lot of these alkaline water is not healthy for you. You know, they put it in a nice pretty bottle, make it look good, and we're sitting here drinking all these synthetic minerals and synthetic electrolytes. And when it comes to these alkaline water, in order to make water alkaline, what they do in a lot of these factories, in order to make water alkaline, you have to create electricity with the water molecules. And that's not a natural way to make water alkaline. The natural water that comes alkaline is the water that falls off them rocks, which comes from a natural spring.
So great question, T's Journey. A comment was in the chat where it said, food deserts are also when there are no grocery stores in the community, and if there is one, they have no produce or vegetables. So I wanted to touch base too on, we're talking about, the question, are we eating ourselves to death? And you added in there, it's not even just about what you're putting in your mouth, but me as a skincare professional, about what you're putting on your skin, how that is being absorbed in the skin, how it's working. But I'm doing a study currently on the relation of skin and psychology our mental traumas and capacities of where we are mentally. I have clients who come and they, in their mind, they've tried everything. But the one thing that I'm noticing that oftentimes when I say, I would usually say your skincare goals, and I've changed it to what are your skincare expectations, because you can have a goal that's not obtainable in regarding to, it's just not realistically going to happen.
Right.
So what are your skincare expectations is what I ask now. And in doing so, I often find that the one thing I do not hear often is education. So when someone has been traumatized to the point where we have an elder who always say, you have people who literally have been doing wrong for so long, they really think it's right.
The right way.
They think it's right because they've done it for so long. And so when you're coming with information that is challenging what you know in your mind to be truth, it is a trigger.
Most definitely.
And we have to know our own triggers. And if you don't know that that's a trigger for you, you kind of push it off. So what do you say to somebody when we're talking about what we're eating, killing ourselves, and they don't know how to read ingredients? They don't even know that they're not educated, or they don't have the proper education. They may feel that they're educated, but don't have the proper education that leads to a solution. Because any education has a solution to a problem.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't, then that education is continuing to further on the problem and not providing any solution. So what do you say as a solution for our people who they're sick? We are sick mentally. And before something can happen, saying changing what you eat, if you don't change your mental capacity, way of thinking, then you can be eating, but you still are sick in your mind. So there's no monumental change,
right?
Because you'll easily go back to what you were doing because you never considered your mental state of thinking. So I know we're focusing on what we're eating or we put in our mouths, but I guess because when I'm studying, I'm learning that it has to start mentally. So if you have a patient or client or somebody that's listening, I have some of my clients on here, and hopefully they're listening or will listen later. What do you say to that as a holistic counselor who deals with food, but mentally? How do you address a client that comes across your path who you can just tell off the bat mentally they're just not in the right space to even retain all of what you just said? They hear it, but they're not able to retain it.
Well, when it comes to trying to heal the body from a mental aspect, before you heal the body mentally, you need to heal the gut. The gut is the first brain. You ever had a gut feeling? You went somewhere or you did something and your gut was just telling you, don't do it or don't go in there. That's your gut talking to you. So your gut actually tells you what to do. So when I say that the gut is your first brain, your heart mechanism is your second brain, this up here is your third brain. So when it comes to a mental aspect, it's not always about food. Are you praying? Are you meditating? Are you staying stress-free? Are you doing things to calm yourself, to put yourself in a calm state in order to gain consciousness of what you need to do when it comes to food? And this also has something to do with someone being proactive. A lot of us don't like to be proactive. We want everything handed to us. We want somebody else to show us this, show us that. You have to be proactive and you have to go and you have to research these things yourself. You don't want to always take someone's word for it. And I even say that to myself, even listening to me. Don't just take my word for it. Do your own homework. I did my homework. I listen to people all the time, but I will always go back and do my own research and my own homework. And the most important thing is one thing that we have to do is read. Yeah. That's one thing that us as Black men and Black women that we don't do. We do not like to read. It is so much information in books. And we're so attached to this YouTube, social media, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, and it has its pros and it has its cons as well. I'm on social media as well, but you have to do your due diligence as well and not just use those tools of sorcery as your information. Yeah. You ever heard of the saying that if you want to hide something from a man, put it in a book? Why would you put it in the book? 2 reasons. Because that's either going to be the very last place he looked, or that's going to be a place he or she do not look at all. It's so much information in books, and this is why I praise so much of, a lot of entrepreneurs and a lot of nutritionists and dietitians that were up and coming, the Dr. Sabis and things of that nature, Yaki and things, because they actually put in the work. This was before Google. This was before YouTube and social media. Everybody is just so hooked on these things, and it's different ways around, when it comes to getting information and gaining information and being proactive. You have to read. So when it comes to healing the mind, healing the gut, healing the heart, healing your spirit, you have to start with the gut, because your food is what gives you the mental capacity to think different. When I said before, when you change the chemistry in the body, it's going to start to change everything about you. It's going to change your skin. It's going to change your mental. It's going to change your bowels. It's going to change your sex drive. It's going to change everything. Your food is your medicine. So if you're having mental problems, or if you're dealing with anything mentally, you want to change that. Change it by changing with what you eat, with what you put in your body. Start eating more fruits, foods that are very, very vibrational. We're very vibrational people, so we have to put things in our body that responds to us, and that's going to give us the clarity that we need mentally, physically, spiritually, and emotionally as well. So everything starts with the food. Heal that gut. You heal the mind, you heal the heart, and you heal everything else and everyone else around you. Because when you start changing your eating habits, guess what? Everyone around you start to change their eating habits as well. Because now they see what you're doing. Hey, this is working. Tim look good. Her hair is growing. Her skin is glowing. She lost weight. What's the first thing someone who wants to lose weight, what's the first thing they do?
Out.
Change their eating habits.
Oh, that's it. Yeah.
They change their eating habits. So when you want to drop them 20, 30, 40 pounds, it's not the gym. They change their eating habits. The gym come after that. They always change their eating habits. They start eating salads, start drinking water, eating more fruits. So we already know psychologically that the food is your medicine. Because you can ask anyone that tried to lose weight, what did they do? Change their eating habits.
Yeah.
So now we know that you have that, and you mentioned something about, pretty much goes back to the word balance, which is why our business, the Body Balance, is all about balance. Balance. Without balance, is
have nothing.
Scale.
Yep.
So when you're thinking about somebody who, like, I've had clients, and of course I'm not a nutritionist, so I took it upon myself to do more education, knowledge on my own. Obviously, my brother, so I have you as a access, but I've had where clients say, I can't eat fruits. I have acid reflux, or this fruit does this to me, so I stay away from fruits. Obviously, to me, naturally, that sounds not normal, but if they can't do something like that, they, like you said, you have to change their environment. So how would they change their environment if they've tried this multiple times, eating some type of fruit, and it's caused them discomfort, it's caused them pain, or whatever it is their experience is with eating fruit or eating fruits. So they just completely stay away from fruits and even sometimes vegetables. Like I said, to me it's not but I am, like you said, a judgment-free zone. So you listen, but then you're gonna research, like, how is that possible? Yeah. Because there's a lot of things we're like, how is that possible nowadays? But it is because of
how are you allergic to this and allergic
or how you're allergic. Yeah,
exactly.
So if you can speak to that, and then there's another question and comment in the chat regarding to food doesn't foods in general, because we know the biggest topic is expensive. Most times is what it's stated. So
very
answer that first. Have you ever had a patient who said they can't eat fruits or vegetables or fruits or fruit because they're allergic to it and it's caused some type of response to their body?
I get it all the time. The biggest thing is when it comes to fruits or vegetables or someone's changing their lifestyle is texture. a lot of individuals, specifically women, they have this thing with texture. So someone that doesn't maybe like, say for instance, a kiwi, or they don't like dragon fruit, or some of them don't like the textures of a banana. I tell them to blend it up, put it in a smoothie, or juice it. Juicing your fruits and juicing your vegetables, that actually, I've seen a lot of my clients actually would eat, well, not necessarily eat it, but fruits that they don't eat or vegetables that they don't like, yeah, juice it and they'll eat it. I mean, they'll juice it and they'll actually drink it, because now they don't have to deal with the texture of a certain type of fruit or a certain type of vegetable. So I would tell you to juice it or put it in a smoothie or something like that. That will be.
But is it possible for someone to be allergic? Not allergic. Is it possible for? I don't know why I said allergic. Is it possible for someone who can't consume fruits?
I wouldn't say it's impossible. Their body has to get adjusted to it. A lot of times when people don't eat certain things for a long period of time, that's just like if you don't eat meat for a long period of time and then you decide to eat some meat, you get sick, your stomach get toe up. But if you go a long period of time, even as an adolescent, as a child, you go so long without eating these certain fruits. And now these fruits that you've never ate before, these fruits that you maybe ate once or twice, now you're eating these fruits, and now you're getting all these different type of enzymic reactions from the fruits that's actually healthy for you, but you haven't eaten them in so long. And it's the same thing when it comes to people that say, well, I'm allergic to this, I'm allergic to that. You're never 100% allergic to anything. You have to get the body adjusted to certain nuts, certain fruits. And once you cleanse that body, cleanse that nervous system, you cleanse that gut, you cleanse you cleanse the organs in the body, you'll see once you start giving that person small pieces of the fruit that they don't like, or small pieces of certain nuts and things like that, once you cleanse, like you say, you have to have a balance. You have the balance of acids, and you have to have a equal balance of alkalinity. You always have to have a balance. You don't have a balance somewhere in there. That balance is not there. And that's why a lot of people say, well, I'm allergic to this, I'm allergic to that, when technically you're really not allergic to anything. You just have to get your body adjusted to that.
So we got questions coming in. One question in particular was asking regarding to, they understand that you promote plant-based diets, but they're my clients, so they know ultimately you have balance, which is why they're willing to work with you. However, they're not ready to go plant-based. So how do you work with clients who are not willing to, that maybe not go at all, or are open to it, but they're not making those changes abruptly, or so not abruptly, but suddenly? How do you work with clients, or what would you say to someone who's listening who may not can afford to be a client of yours, but they do want to begin to make changes in their lifestyle? Where would they start? What would be the first recommendation that you would recommend for them to do? And then I'll answer just some other questions too.
Take those baby steps, like I've iterated before. You have to take those baby steps. I don't never intend anyone to just nosedive straight into plant-based or veganism. You have to take those small steps first. Those small steps are very critical. And that's what's going to get your body adjusted to what you're trying to do, because it takes a while for the body to adjust to these type of things. You know, you've been eating one particular way all your life. So I'm not expecting for you to just jump into, plant-based and just expecting just a quick turnaround like that. It doesn't work like that. So you have to make these small steps. It's very important for you to take these small steps. Small steps. What do I mean by that? Taking the pop. If you're a pop drinker, eliminate the pop. That's a small, but it's a crucial step when it comes to eliminating pop or soda out of the diet. Or when it comes to milk. If you're a milk drinker, try to slowly but surely wean yourself off milk. If you drink milk 3-4 times out the week, decrease that to maybe once or twice a week. And then you'll look up a month later, now you're only doing it once a week. You look up another month later, you're not drinking that at all. Now you're replacing it with almond milk. but I would prefer anyone that's drinking almond milk to make your own almond milk, because a lot of the things that we consume, it has a lot of synthetic chemicals, synthetic electrolytes, synthetic minerals, emulsifiers, etc., etc. I actually just made some almond milk. Me and my son made some almond milk yesterday. I wanted to show him how to make his own almond milk, and we actually got a big thing of it. And the crazy part about it, he actually likes it, and he drinks dairy milk. So you have to, it's the same thing with the children. You have to slowly but surely try to wean them off these things. And eventually at some point in time, they're just not going to want it anymore. Their taste buds is going to start to change. Once your taste buds change, everything changes. Because now you don't have a taste for that meat that you used to like. Since your taste buds change, you don't want it anymore. So making those small baby steps is critical into getting yourself to want to change your lifestyle. Don't just nosedive into it, because you're going to always go back to the way that you used to eat, because you haven't really been proactive in what you're eating. And also, when you're going to the grocery store, try your best to just stay on the outskirts of the aisle and try not to always go down each aisle, because that's where all of the bad food is at, is in the aisles. Try to stay on the outskirts where mostly all your produce and things are at. Now on the outskirts, you do have the milk, the frozen section and things of that nature. But you got to take those baby steps. And that's exactly what I did. I took small steps to a certain degree, but I kind of,
Some things you was able to abruptly make a change.
I was able to make a change real quick.
If y'all drinking that dairy milk, just get that almond milk. It tastes good.
When it came to dairy and
coconut,
So then I know
hemp milk.
Yeah, there was one client of mine, and we put together like a verbal plan, and I shared with her, and like she still consumes, I believe it's salmon and chicken occasionally.
Mm-hmm.
So from what I understand from her last time we visited her, she said she tries to consume, if it's going to be meat such as salmon and chicken or what she eats, she tries to do it at least once every other week, or her goal is to get once a month with that. As far as consuming meat, like you said, that's a good start.
That's a good start.
Like she said, she may not ever go plant-based, but she's recognizing that, like you said, once you see the changes, that's why she's like, now her goal is once a month.
Exactly.
So again, he's not saying, he personally wouldn't say consume, right? You're saying you obviously would you're promoting obviously vegan, but if you're someone who does, like you said, willing to work with them.
Oh, most definitely.
However, it's you put in those baby steps, and so that's one of my clients that you have helped.
That's a baby step.
Once every other week, who's now her goal.
That's a baby step.
When I saw her, she want to go once a month, and she sees the drastic changes. For
even if
herself.
you eat meat 4 or 5 days a week, cutting back to 2 or 3 days a week, that's a baby step. But it's a step. As long as you're making progress, that's all that matters. When it comes to changing your lifestyle, because again, it can be difficult. It can be very difficult, especially if you have children. Because you buy things for your kids, and then sometimes you done bought some fruit snacks for your kids. Now you eating them fruit snacks because you done bought them for your kids. So you just got to be real. You have to be realistic about these things. Especially like I said, especially if you don't start your kids off as adolescents, as they're real small. It's going to be easier to get them to eat right because you started them off when they were little, compared to someone that's 9, 10, a teenager or something like that. It's just as hard as it is for you. It'll be just as hard as it is for them, because again, you've been eating one particular way for all of these years. So making those baby steps is very crucial.
You can read that.
You want me to read the
That's a
question?
question. Yeah.
Okay,
No, that's
so
a
there's a
question I sent to you.
There's a question in the YouTube that's been here for a minute, and the question that was texted to us by some people over there. So, Mom asks, it not only has to be accessible, but it must be affordable. How do you translate what you are teaching to those who live below the poverty line and don't have access to grow their own food?
Well, when it comes to, that's a good question too.
That's a very good question. I have something I want to add to it too. It's a good question.
So when it comes to having funds or the necessary funds to get groceries or things of that nature, when it comes, especially when you have young teenagers or when you have children, again, like I just said before, that's what makes it even more difficult, because not only do you have to try to wean yourself off, now you have to try to wean them off as well. And again, that's another process of making baby steps when it comes to, someone having funds or not having the amount of money that they feel that they need in order to fulfill someone's belly. But the one thing that we have to understand is that we don't always have to eat to get full. So when we make meals, we always make meals to get full, because we feel as though we have to be fulfilled when it comes to eating. And you are going to have some days where you're starving, you're hungry, and that's absolutely fine. But the more fruits you put in your house, when you buy fruits, put them out on the counter. Don't put them in the refrigerator. Only the ones that needs to be refrigerated. Set it on the counter. That's what I do when I'm at home. All of my fruits are on the counter. So now you're more prone to, when you walk past that table or when you walk past that island, to pick up an apple, pick up an orange, pick up some grapes, pick up some berries, because now you see it. So when it comes, us as people, we're visual creatures. We want to see things. And if it's in the refrigerator, most of the time, when you don't eat fruits and vegetables right away, they begin to go bad. So when you set it out and you leave it out, you're more prone to eat these things. And a lot of your fruits and vegetables can be pricey because of the organic, things that they, put on your fruits and things of that nature. So it can be pricey when it comes to that. And they do that intentionally. So if I raise the price on fruits, guess what? That's going to deter you away from not buying those fruits because it costs too much.
Or they're going to lower the cost on the seedless and genetically modified fruits.
Exactly.
I sent you a photo of a cucumber. It said 99 cents for the ones in the plastic, and it was long cucumbers.
Yeah.
And the ones that was the real cucumbers grown without, genetic modification was much higher.
Exactly. So I tell people, either you pay the farmer now or pay the pharmacy later.
Yeah.
So look at it from that perspective. Pay the farmer now. It's more of a mental challenge, but you pay the farmer now or pay the pharmacy later. So just as well as when it comes to the money issue, again, it's more of a mental thing as well, but you have to look at it from this standpoint. It's so many Americans out here right now that's on prescription drugs. Millions out here on prescription drugs. It's very seldom you can go inside of someone's house and no one in that house is on a prescription medication. So when you look at it from that standpoint, you have to prioritizing, your food and your money is one way, but you have to look at it from a perspective of, do I want to be here? What's more important? The money or my health?
Yeah.
And that almost it's like it outweighs the money issue outweighs the mental aspect of your health, because it's like, well, you say, well, yeah, my health is more important, but I don't have the funds to buy the things that we need that actually healthy for us. So again, that comes with not always thinking that you always have to eat to get full. And you don't want to eat all the time. So look at it from this perspective. Your average person eats 3 to 4 times a day: breakfast, lunch, dinner. When you're eating breakfast, lunch, and dinner, a lot of people are snacking in between breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And then a lot of people are snacking after dinner. So that's a lot of food. Your body is processing food all day long. You never give your body time to rest. Your body needs to rest. That's why fasting is the best way to heal the body, because your body is now resting. You ever had a cell phone and it froze, or your computer and it froze, and you cut it off and cut it back on? That's what you're doing to your body when you're fasting. You're resetting your body. And that's why I say it's not always good to eat to try to get full. You don't have to eat to get full. You need the body. You eat for 3 reasons. You eat for nourishment, you eat for energy, and you eat for elimination. That's why elimination is very, very, very important, because what you don't eliminate, you accumulate. And what you accumulate is the manifestation of disease. That's why it's very important to cleanse, detox, and fast. You have to. It's imperative. Yeah. All of these things that we eat and all of these emulsifiers and chemicals and harmful pesticides and things that we have in our body, the average person just eat. They don't cleanse, they don't detox, they don't fast. So when you eat these things, make sure you're eating your fruits to push these things out, because fruits are cleansers, vegetables are rebuilders. Fruits is going to cleanse the body, vegetables are going to rebuild the body. So it's very imperative to always have fruits and vegetables in your house. A lot of people don't think that that's actually a cheaper way of buying food, is your fruits and vegetables. Think about it. You take the meat out, you take the cereal out, you take the junk food away, and you spend all of that on your fruits and vegetables and being proactive, learning how to incorporate these things into your daily meals. It will not cost as much as you actually think it will. It actually be cheaper.
So I wanted to add some also, as you say, we are visual people. Mm-hmm. We're also people, when we are given a thought, it provokes something. So what I would, to answer the question when it comes to how you translate the teaching those below the poverty line, for those who don't know, my husband and I are board members and founders of a corporation called Sustainability and Resource Hub. Mm-hmm. For Sustainability Resource Hub, our desire is to educate particularly the African American community, but not limiting others from having this information, is about being sustainable and having resources mm-hmm. available to them. There is so many resources available to us. Mm-hmm. What I have found so far is that most what we would call urban, well, I can't even say urban, they're trying to change the definition of urban communities, but low income communities, mm-hmm. is that they have local gardens. Mm-hmm. The issue is that the people in the community where those local gardens are at are not volunteering, or are not, it's not because they're not aware, but again, it goes back to, it's not of interest to them. Mm-hmm. So what I'm desiring to do is to reach out to these local garden communities, and what I'm doing is looking at the community of the people. Where are they at mentally? Why is it not of attraction to them? Mm-hmm. Oftentimes we say when you give somebody something for free, if they didn't really pay for it, they don't see, there's no correlation to it, right? But when we're talking about something that's grown from a garden that you didn't necessarily maybe pay for the seeds, or you recycled your seeds from the fruit that you had before, why not go and give a basket to the community in that area, or set out outside the local garden and say, hey, grab a few fruits here, try this. Yeah. So that is one way how you can how I would translate teaching this to people below the poverty line, is go to your local community gardens and see how can you volunteer first and foremost, because if you volunteer, you're able to take some of that with you home when there's abundance of it, or whatever, you trade or you barter with that person. Mm-hmm. But again, before they can even get to that point, they don't even mentally have the desire to go there, is someone like myself saying, hey, I'm gonna go and speak to these local community gardens and say, there's a disconnect still. You're here, but the people you're here for aren't coming. Why is that? Here's a solution. Here's a option that we can try. If that doesn't work, at least I got to talk to the person. I got to see them in their eyes. And for someone who has a relationship with the Most High, I can be discerning to say what really was deeply going on with that person, right? And may touch them in a different way. Yeah. Right? That's true. That's one way. Another thing is when you do have fruit that you purchase and you are either below the poverty line regarding income, or you don't have access to grow your own food. When you purchase your fruit in the grocery store, save one strawberry. Look up on YouTube. If you don't have access to YouTube, go to the local library. Go to YouTube or ask them, I want to know how can, from this one strawberry I have, regrow this myself with the seeds that are on the strawberry. Or with my pineapple, when you cut the top of that pineapple, I want to know how can I regrow this to grow it myself. Right. You can start in some buckets. Yeah. And those are very, we are resourceful. Hydroponics. Yeah, we're not, the food that we're eating is causing us not to think of the solutions that are, literally, I just thought about that one right here when it came to taking the fruit and what we would call scraps
really isn't scraps. Like for me, my kids do not like the top of the strawberries. Now, I just saw a video recently of how you just push the straw through the bottom of the strawberry and push it out on the top. But what I would do is I would cut the part top. I can regrow that from the seeds that are still partially on the top of the strawberry that I cut off.
Or you can actually use it as fertilizer in your soil.
Or fertilizer. So that's another opportunity. So obviously that involves education.
Most definitely.
That means obviously going into these communities, which you have, you volunteer for certain places. Myself, likewise. But that is a solution to someone below the poverty line, but also to the part where they don't have access to it. You can have access to it by when you go to the grocery store and you purchase what you purchase, save one of each or two of each.
Yeah, you can
and
also
use those seeds to regrow it.
And you can also, when you go to, even though it's a food desert, when you do find that particular grocery store in your neighborhood, you could also go to and talk to the manager and say, hey, we or a particular group of people, we like to eat a certain way. If you can begin to order these particular fruits, vegetables, whatever, once they see that, because they see that people are actually asking for it, interested in it, they're going to order it. And when they see that start flying off the shelf, they're going to keep ordering it. You can change the dynamic of your community by just going to these local little markets or stores and say, hey, you should implement this because people are eating healthier now. You can go to these restaurants, even though they're there right now. Once they see people not really eating that stuff no more, they're not going to last that long. But if you begin to go into these restaurants, particularly Black-owned restaurants, right? We have like Uncle Remus's and Harold's, right? If you go in there and say, hey, you should make a vegan chicken and see how the people like it, right?
Right.
And people say, man, that's fine. What is that? They say, oh, that's a mushroom or something. Well, that's cauliflower. Yeah. And you start seeing people adjust, like you said, the baby steps, letting them eat something that's like that. They don't even realize what it is until they eat it. They say, man, simply like they always say, I'm not sure you know about this, is that fruits and vegetables hold, like especially when you season it, it holds the flavor better than meat. And so if we know that, and you begin to implement that and begin to season certain things, not saying you want to be highly using a whole bunch of high sodium and all those things like that, but when you do use it, you can begin to, like you said, on baby steps.
Most definitely.
So yeah.
I think another important thing is that when it comes to food, we have to educate ourselves in knowing we have to know what we are.
Right.
It can be difficult not knowing who you are as a person and what you're made of, and you're constantly trying to eat certain type of fruits or certain type of vegetables, and you don't really know what the body needs.
Yeah.
So it is very good to educate yourself on yourself. Learn the human anatomy. This is something that they should be learning. They should be teaching our children in school. Yeah, you know your ABCs, your 1, 2, 3s. Teach these kids about themselves. You know, your average person don't even know how many bones is in the human body. You can go outside right now and walk up and down the street and ask anybody, how many bones is in the human body? It's 206 bones in the human body. Your average person don't know that. That's something that any walking human being should know. You know, we get up every day and we walk in these shoes and we don't even know ourselves. You know your job. You know how to count money. You know your ABCs, you know your 1, 2, 3s, you know how to drive a car, but you know nothing about this vehicle.
Yeah.
That's a problem. So if you don't know anything about this vehicle, how are you going to have the knowledge and the education to know what foods to put in this vehicle that's going to make this vehicle function? So you have to educate yourself on yourself. Understand what this human physiology is made of. Protons, electrons, and neutrons create atoms. Atoms create cells. Cells create organs. Organs create systems. All systems within the human body creates you. Your average person don't know that. So when you educate yourself on you, it makes your job much easier when it comes to eating food, or what food to eat, or what food that.
Listen, man,
I'm sorry.
You sounded like your mentor.
Okay, so there was another question, and I'm so sorry, you all trying to juggle with the kids with the questions. Kirsten over here. A question from Kurt was, can you guys give, so I guess to you and Anthony, can you guys give examples of other countries, tribes, or people that primarily are plant-based where, in quotation, diseases are almost non-existent in these countries, such as areas of rural Africa or rural China? But can you, if you know of any, can you share, where the diseases are almost non-existent and why?
Well, I want to hop on this, and then I'll let Tim hop on as well. I'm sure he can add to it as well. If I can start, it is many places in the world but it's a small pocket of those that are still usually as he asks, a plant-based diet. It's cultural diet that they had from generations and generations passed down. You'll find it in certain parts of Israel, certain parts of Africa, particularly Ethiopia, the Eritrea area. You'll find it in certain parts of China. Also, I said India. What else? We have South Africa. We have, and even the community that we know that's in Israel, that's in Dimona, they have literally changed the dynamic of that particular part of Israel, particularly the southern parts of Israel where they are at. And they begin to influence others, even as they not only influence in Israel, but they also influence around the world. They have certain restaurants here in Chicago as well, plant-based restaurants that really help those that are like seeking to kind of, like you said, go to these different restaurants and be able to eat a healthier meal. So it's a few tribes, and if I want to name all of them, we'll be here all night. But there are particular parts in different countries that are still on a plant-based diet, and they look at if they did eat any meats, it'd be like a just on a, how can I say this?
So many ounces.
It's so many ounces, and it's not even a main meal. It's like a little piece on the plate.
Yeah.
The plate is not even full of meat. Like here in Chicago, or just in America in itself, you'll see a plate full of a big old steak. We go get the biggest steaks, but you go to certain countries, it's not because they can't afford. It's just the fact that this is the lifestyle. This is what they eat. They eat healthier. Yeah. So if you want to,
and a lot of the even the meats, the meat is not the same from when it was when our ancestors or when our great grandmothers and grandfathers was here. A lot of the meat and things that they ate, a lot of that stuff came off their farm. And a lot of the meats a lot of the things that they're doing to our meats nowadays is saturated with chemicals. It's saturated with antibiotics. That's why you can go to a grocery store and it will show you no antibiotics. They have a lot. Our meat is nothing like it was years and years and years ago. You can even go to Asia, or you can go to China. Ask yourself why that particular culture, why their disease rate is so low. Because they eat according to their culture.
Yeah.
They eat according to their culture. And when
even when you just said that, because you understand we are in a Western society.
Yes.
So immediately what came in my mind, somebody said, that's what you're saying, but they saying, coronavirus.
Yeah, because like I said, it was that wet market, and so we know the dilemma behind that. That was that area that's like the city, like they go eat anything. They eat anything.
Well, I'm just saying,
but you got pockets.
Why their disease is so low, but it means someone's mindset, because again, there's a propaganda. They're going to push when it comes to certain things. So yes, we know every part of the world there's somewhere that
most definitely.
Maybe in China the disease is.
And let me hop on that real quick.
You gotta be careful. Like, what you talking about?
If you ever went to, we all have it, right? Particularly in Black communities, you have Chinese buffets, right? They selling you everything. You don't know what you eating. You don't know what meat you eating. But if you sit there long enough and watch them eat lunch, all they eating is rice and vegetables. They ain't eating what they selling you. So
they eat according to their culture.
Yeah.
And that's why black men and black women, we're the sickest race in America. Because black men and black women, we eat every other culture's food but our own. We eat Chinese food. We eat Italian food. We eat Mexican food. We eat every other culture's food but our own. And then a lot of people will say, well, soul food is our culture. Soul food is not food for the soul. Some of that food, yes, your sweet potatoes, your greens and things of that nature, yes, you can eat that. But a lot of the foods that we eat, that we say that's a part of our culture, is what's killing you. A lot of the pork, the beef, the chicken and things of that nature is and we eat so much of it. We eat it every single day. It's people out here eat chicken every day, eat steak every day, eat pork every day. And I don't knock anyone who eat meat, because just because I don't eat meat, that don't mean I'm going to judge you or knock you because you eat meat. But you cannot eat these things every single day. And that's why black men and black women are the highest in cardiovascular disease. We're the highest in diabetes. We're the highest when it comes to AIDS. We're the highest when it comes to all of these different diseases, because we eat every other culture's food but our own. You don't see Chinese people going around eating everybody else's food. When the last time you seen a Korean or a Chinese person come into a black-owned restaurant and ate some soul food? I'm not saying that they don't, but when have you ever seen that? You don't see, different cultures eating all of these different foods that's not part of their culture. And that's why Chinese and Koreans, they eat a lot of rice, white rice, because that's a part of their culture. Yeah. Rice is a part of our culture as well, but not white rice, wild rice. Of course. Because wild rice is full of what? Carbon. It's full of amino acids.
A country or a tribe of people primarily that are plant-based, or that was what we need to get back to as far as to distinctly say a particular group, just to give them something to research.
Yeah, so I like I said, knowing those that left Chicago in 1969.
They went over to Nazareth.
They went over to Israel, and they went into Dimona, Israel. And one of the elders that we actually had here a few weeks ago, he'll be back again, and we have more discussion. But we know them, like we actually know them, so we know their lifestyle. I can name tribes, and you can go research them, and I'm sure you'll find them. But to actually be able to talk to those that actually live this lifestyle, I'm talking about these men that are at 60, 70 years old out there hooping and running and jogging.
Maybe you can put that video up at the end and show them.
And they're healthy and they look young. Like Elder Moshe. Elder Moshe, he's 80. He looks like he's 50. You see what I'm saying? So the way we eat also correlates to, as they say, black don't crack. But when we actually eat right,
we don't. Yes.
So particularly the you can look up it's actually, you can find some great articles and plenty of articles out there on how those that are in Dimona, Israel, are affecting the environment around them, because they literally are plant-based and they're healthy and they're living older. They're not barred down with even the negativity of like where they came from in Chicago, like the gun violence and the drugs and something like that, because their children wasn't introduced to that. So now the generation behind them carry on that mantle, and it's beautiful. So that's like I said, that's something just a direct.
Check out on Instagram. There's a lady I said to my mom and my siblings and them in group on Instagram called Chef Babette. I don't know if you've heard of it. No. 70, I believe she's 70 plus years old. Looks amazing.
Hallelujah.
I mean, amazing.
Yep.
But Chef Babette. That's ChefBabette on Instagram. It is Chef Babette on Instagram. ChefBabette. Babette Davis is her name, and she gives her story. But she looks amazing. She's into fitness. But again, Chef Babette, she's a great resource as well to look at, of an older woman up in age who is maturing truly gracefully.
Yeah.
That's good.
And so just to finish off that question, that is asked, like I said, we want to be able to give you guys something that you can go and research or kind of, as you sit here and listen to us, that you can fact check it as well. Like I said, in Ethiopia as well, particularly in the Eritrea area, where they are also a group of people that's vegan or plant-based, and they are almost to the point where you rarely see diseases break out in their particular area. They're healthy because once the immune system, which some people don't agree to immune system, but hey, just for the sake of being relatable, it's strong. So it kind of, their resistance from certain things they can resist. So yeah, so thanks for that question. Go ahead, sir.
There's to piggyback up the lamb back. I'm sorry about that.
Veggie back, lamb back.
Lamb back off of what I was saying about the. There are a lot of churches in our communities that have food pantries.
Yeah.
And then there's a guy named Pastor Bill. I used to go work with him on Fridays, and he has a connection at the largest produce place here in Chicago, over there on Blue Island. And I used to stock his trucks for him. I used to fill the trucks up to the rim. And he brings it to the church and just sit it out there and let the community come and get it. And it's welcome to anybody and everybody. So a lot of them are still pretty much trying to do what they did before the COVID. So we trying to help what they call the working poor, because they make a salary but not enough to have the proper groceries in the house, so that they can, contribute to their children and themselves. There's one more question I have, but the wait almost the wait was so low. But listen, you didn't really get down on the adrenal gland. Can you talk about it now?
The adrenals. When it comes to the adrenal glands are in control of your kidney filtration. Your adrenal glands also in control of your sympathetic and autonomic nervous system. So when you're dealing with the adrenal glands, they are about the size of walnuts, and they sit directly above the kidneys. So if you're having kidney problems, most of the time you're probably having adrenal glands problems. If you are having adrenal glands problem, more than likely you're having kidney problems. So when you're dealing with the adrenals are very, very, very important, because again, it's also not only in control of the kidney filtration, but it's also in control of the sympathetic and the autonomic nervous system. That key word there, auto. That's anything in the body that runs automatically. Your heartbeat that runs automatically. Your digestive system that runs automatically. Your lungs, when you breathe, exhaling and inhaling, that's done automatically. You don't have to consciously sit there and think to tell yourself to breathe. All of these things are controlled by the adrenal glands. So if you have an adrenal glands issue, it's more than likely you're having a lot of different issues as well, because they're in control of so much, specifically the kidneys. So if you're able to get those adrenals online, you're able to filtrate. And that's why I always say elimination is very important, because if you can't eliminate, it's going to accumulate. And what accumulates is the manifestation of a lot of diseases.
So what would be the best detox for the adrenal gland? Because I know that processed sugar, white sugar, starch sugar, and things of that nature, builds up that mucus. Well, not mucus, how you
acids.
call it?
Acids.
Yeah, that will clog these things. So how do we detox the adrenal?
Melons, any type of fruits, because all fruits are very hydrative, but your most hydrative fruits are your melons, your papayas, your honeydew, your cantaloupe, your watermelon. Watermelon, I mean, It's called a watermelon for a reason. But any of your melons, because they're very, very hydrative, they're about 98% water, especially your cucumbers. Cucumbers are very, very high in water content. You even have certain vegetables that are very high in water content, like your romaine lettuce is high in water content. Your bok choy is high in water content. So you have a lot of different fruits. All of your fruits are very, very good for all parts of the body. But when it comes to the adrenals, your melons, get you the melons.
Do you stir fry your bok choy?
Yes.
And keep them as crunchy as near crunchy
as you possibly can. Yeah.
So with that being said, we're talking about detoxing. So it is. So are you talking a daily detox, monthly detox? How often should we be detoxing our bodies?
Every day. Every day. You should be eating fruit every single day because it's a process. It's a part of your physiology. So if you're eating fruit every day, you're detoxing the body naturally. That's a natural way of detoxing the body, is by eating fruits every single day. You know, I eat fruits every day. Monday through Sunday, I'm eating fruits. When I'm at work, I'm eating fruits. And when I'm outside, I'm eating fruits, especially in the summertime. You want to keep that body hydrated with H3O2. And that's the best thing that you can hydrate the body with, is with your fruit. So when you want to detox, best way to detox naturally is on a consistent basis every day is with your fruits. And not only are you detoxing when you eat your fruits, you're getting your phytonutrients, you're getting your minerals, you're getting your amino acid, you're getting your trace mineral, you're getting everything you need in your fruits to function throughout your everyday, day-to-day basis. So if you want to naturally detox, eat your fruits, because again, fruits are cleansers. Vegetables are rebuilders. Vegetables are going to rebuild the body. Fruits is going to cleanse the body. So it's a natural cleanser.
So you said earlier about putting a key lime in their water. So most people put limes in their water. I mean lemons in their water. So you're saying lemons are better, or limes are better than lemons, I should say.
You can use a lemon as well. A lemon is alkaline. See, a lot of people think that citrus fruit, because it's citrus, that is acids. Everything that you eat produces acids. Everything. You got phytic acid, you got carbonic acid, you got uric acid, you got folic acid, you have did I say lactic acid? Everything in the body produces acid. Everything is created on an acidic medium. Everything, even you. That's why you have something called DNA, deoxyribonucleic acid. You even made with small molecules of RNA, ribonucleic acid. Ribose is a sugar. It's acidic in nature. Your cells, you got over 150 trillion cells in your body. Your cells are slightly acidic. They sit at a 6.45. Why are your cells acidic? Because in your body, you have different communities. So your cells are constantly moving and functioning throughout the body. Anything that moves and functions throughout the body creates heat. Anything that creates friction. Anything that creates friction, if I was to rub my hands together, creates heat. Anything that creates heat creates acids. So everything is created off an acidic medium. Everything. That's why I say your water in nature naturally is acidic. And that's why I say acids is the root cause of every disease, because you don't have a balance. You need a balance of acids, and you also need a balance of alkalinity. And that's what creates diseases in the body, because you have too many acids in the body and you don't have enough hydration in the body, so you can push those acids out the body through your kidneys, because your kidneys have to be functioning in order for you to filtrate. Your adrenals have to be functioning in order for you to be able to filtrate. Now it's going to come out three ways. It's going to come out through your urine, it's going to come out through your poop, or it's going to come out through your skin, because your skin is the largest eliminating organ on the body. Your skin also absorbs everything. So sweating, when you perspire, that's a good thing, because now you're eliminating toxins and bad bacteria out of the body.
So I got a question too, and then I think you got one next. So the question I have is here, it said that basically I get sick and headaches and migraines when I eat substitute sugars. Why is that?
because sugar is a substitute, like
substitution, like that's not the, as you mentioned, like the sugar that come from fruits, but it's like the white sugars and stuff like that.
because it's a
Like in a drink, like in a drink or something.
because what people don't understand is that sugar is a neurotoxin, and when you consume too much sugar, especially like someone that's dealing with dementia or someone that's dealing with Alzheimer's, when you're dealing with that, it's a neurotoxin. And when you're dealing with Alzheimer's or dementia, guess what? It's messing with the neurological system. So when you intaking too much processed sugar, you have this buildup of neurotoxins in the body. And when you do that, yes, you will get a headache. And a lot of times when people get headaches or migraines, that also indicates that your transverse colon needs to be cleansed out as well. Because when you don't clean out that transverse colon, it sends pressure to the brain and it gives you a migraine. It may give you a headache. So a lot of times you'll see someone that has a migraine or has a headache, and once they take a poop, the migraine will go away or it start to diminish and it won't be there anymore. I'm telling you, that gut is something you have to cleanse at all times, because this is the first brain, that gut. This gut creates everything. This gut creates your ears, it creates your nose, it creates everything, practically everything externally outside of the body is created by the gut.
Yeah.
Everything's practically created by the gut.
Thank you for that.
So if you got gut problems, you're having problems with something else as well.
Question. Best way to to detox is with, like, let's say collards, greens, things of that nature. These also keeps your body smells down as well. Because if you don't eat enough greens, then it's got to come out of you. When it comes out of your system from your gut, is what you're saying. It's going to have a real bad smell. You want to talk on that?
Talk on that and how to properly eat, like, because you can say eating greens, but people put all types of stuff on the seasoning of the greens. Yeah. You probably need to incorporate.
Yeah, they putting stuff in their pot.
Well,
they put those.
I try not. I just put the only one thing that I do. What I'm getting ready to stop doing is when I do my greens, I put the turkey tails in there.
Yeah.
And just so I'm gonna eliminate that oil and that. So you guys are making me like you are. So I have to find a way to bring something over here that everybody can eat and enjoy, And
especially like when you're doing your spinach or you're doing kale or something like that.
saute.
Let me tell y'all something. Use extra virgin olive oil. Extra virgin olive oil is so good for the human anatomy. And why do I say that? Because extra virgin olive oil is full of polyphenols. What is a polyphenol? It's a plant compound that's produced by plants. And polyphenols stimulate brain stem cells. Polyphenols is very important for us because it also, think of this, when you go to the grocery store and you pick greens, the greens that we don't pick are the best greens to eat. Because we look at the greens that's all withery and we're like, oh no, we don't like those. We throw those away. Plants produce more polyphenols when they're stressed or when they're trying to protect themselves from the sun. So those turnip greens or those fresh greens you pick and they look all withery and you don't want them, those are the ones you want because there's so much polyphenol in there because those withery greens are stressed out. So what is polyphenol? It's a well, we all know poly means many. Phenol is the actual compound that the plant produce, and is most of the time it's in the leaf of the plant. So it's not only in olive oil, it's also in the leaves of your fruits. Your strawberries, your blackberries, your blueberries, your raspberries. Polyphenols are also in the leaves. When you go outside during the fall and you see the leaves change colors, it's polyphenols. That's the leaves changing actually changing their colors, and that's due to polyphenols. So polyphenols are very, very good for us, and it actually makes your blood vessels slippery. So when you're building up chloride plaquing, it slides right off.
You sound just like your voice.
It slides right off.
But listen, that like, and one of the other best ones, I'm sorry, is like dandelions.
Mm-hmm.
The whole thing, the roots, the
Dandelion leaf, dandelion root.
the root.
Mhm.
You know, dry that up and make the teas out
Yep.
of it.
I drink it all the time.
See,
Drink it all the time. Dandelion root tea, dandelion leaf.
He made me kill all mine and cut them all down. I'm like, oh, that's good food. That's medicine.
We gonna do this. Like, all right.
but since I started listening to your mentor, man,
But I told him we gonna grow our own
just-
now.
Yeah.
We going in the yard. We got too many cats to this.
You get too many
I
cats.
just heard him do a thing of polyphenol. Yes.
Polyphenols,
Yeah,
man.
yeah, yes.
You get that extra virgin olive oil, take 2 teaspoons of it, or take a shot of it, a half a shot of it every single day. What?
Yeah.
Black seed oil, man, that cures everything but death. You black
Grape
seed,
seed oil, black seed oil, and virgin, man.
extra virgin olive oil. Take a shot of it every day. I take a shot of extra virgin olive oil every day, a half a shot every single day.
So we talking about minerals now. I'm sorry. Did we ever talk about the minerals our bodies need?
Oh, our body needs all, because our bodies we can't function without minerals. That's why you see so many people now buying and selling sea moss. Because of what? Because your body needs minerals. Your body cannot function without minerals. You have to have it. What holds amino acid structures together? Minerals. Without minerals, your whole entire body will fall apart. So you need minerals. Minerals are, that's where the word vitamin comes in at. The prefix of that word vita means essential. It means necessary. Min is just a short term for mineral. So when people are taking their vitamins, that clearly lets you know that minerals are essential to the body, because without it, this is how diseases manifest in the body, because a lot of people are mineral deficient. You need those minerals.
You know, there was a time, and it's still like people around my age, they're so miseducated. It's my sister, for one. What you doing with all those fruits over there? That ain't nothing but sugar. Ain't gonna run your diabetes.
That's what a lot of people say.
So, all that sugar over there.
That's what a lot of people say. I get a lot of clients that come to me and tell their doctor say the same thing. Stay away from that sugar. And I feel as though people need to.
It's a natural sugar.
Fruits are a natural sugar. Like I stated before, your body needs sugar. You can't function without sugar. You know, and a lot of people don't know. First thing when you hear sugar, all your fruits are pretty much what? Sweet. So they're going to stay away from that, not knowing that these natural sugars can reverse your diseases. My father reversed his diabetes eating fruits. The same thing the doctors told him to stay away from is how he reversed his diabetes.
So now, is there supposed to be a balance?
Oh, most definitely. You should have a balance.
So what? I'm a visual, right?
Mhm.
So when you're talking, I'm thinking of, okay, I have a person who's saying they gotta stay away from sugar because maybe the doctor told them, or when they eat sugars, right?
Mhm.
They're saying things happen to them. How does that look for them when you're telling them to eat sugars? Are you portioning that out? How are you getting them to do that? What does that physically look like, if you could draw a picture?
What you saying? What would it look like if I was to get someone to say you should eat this amount of sugar, or you should eat this amount of fruits?
That, he shared about why you got all those sugars, and then you're saying that you hear that often. People say they doctor told them to stay away from the sugars and really people do the fruits.
Right.
When we know that that's the most natural sugar you could possibly have, rather than processed
They
sugar.
know people not going.
So I know, but what? Again, we talk about the mental thought. This has been ingrained in people for years. People. I won't negate what someone is saying has happened to them, right? Because if I haven't physically seen it, if you saying this has done this to your body, then I'm gonna take your word for it. But the question is, why has that happened to your body? Is it something else that's causing you to have I don't know this word, oxymoronic response to something the Father has put on the earth for you to consume? So He wouldn't give you something that will cause your body harm, or cause your body to have a dysfunction to it.
Right.
or adverse reaction to it. So, like, how do you, like I said, how do you draw a picture for that?
It's the same as herbs. Herbs are for the healing of a nation, but you can't abuse herbs either. Certain herbs like licorice root, licorice.
I got some of that. You want some?
Licorice.
I'll get you one. You want one?
Yeah, let me get one. Licorice root is very, very good for the adrenals. But if you have high blood pressure, you don't want to take licorice root because it will send your blood pressure through the roof. You want to replace that with I was gonna say hydrangea root. No, not that one.
That's a good one.
It is a good one, but not that. But everything should be eaten. You shouldn't have to, like a watermelon. I don't expect anyone to.
Here's an example, because as in the chat says, people with diabetes can have fruit, but they have to be mindful of what fruits they eat, such as watermelon and grapes.
That's not necessarily. The watermelons, if anything, that's what you want to eat, is the watermelons. You want to eat the melons. You don't want to eat it in abundance. You definitely don't want to overeat any type of fruit. So when you're eating these fruits, yes, you eat it in moderations. I don't expect anyone to eat a whole watermelon at one sitting. You can eat some watermelon today, in the morning, or maybe later on during the day, at night, maybe 5 or 6 o'clock in the afternoon.
Like for example, you saw my olive oil, right?
Mhm.
There was an elder who was telling me when you become when she becomes ill, she has oregano oil, and what she does is she puts so many drops in her water.
Mhm.
Of course, she wanted to get better much faster. She drank it all in the morning, and her friend who is a holistic doctor or practices in the sense of herbal, she said you ain't supposed to drink it all in the morning. You sip on it throughout the day.
Right.
And so maybe that's what you're trying to say. If you're going to consume these things, it has to be not in one sitting, but
In moderation. Yeah. I take oregano oil. I take it every morning. I take the oregano oil and I take the extra virgin olive oil. So everything.
So how much of it are they to eat then? If the person is diabetic and you're saying watermelon is okay to consume with grapes, how much of it, portion wise? And I know that's probably personal.
Mhm.
You may have to know, like you said, you may have to know their actual diagnosis of diabetes.
Exactly. And just grazing on it. Grazing on it. This is what I do throughout the day. Most of the time in the morning, I don't typically eat. Most of the time in the morning, I don't typically eat in the morning. If I do eat in the morning, I'm always eating fruits, or I'm always drinking some type of juice in the morning. That's the best thing to do when you wake up in the morning, is to hydrate the body in juice. And throughout the day, I will graze on fruit gradually. I don't eat it all in one sitting. I eat maybe like a handful of grapes, and then I probably won't eat any more fruits, maybe till, say, if I get up at 8, I probably won't eat any more fruit till maybe 12, 1 o'clock. I eat some more fruit, maybe eat a couple of different types of nuts or something like that. And then when I come home, then I eat my meal. That's when I eat my salad. That's when I eat whatever meal that I prepared for that day. That's what I eat later on that night. But throughout the day, I would just graze on fruit and not eat it all in one sitting.
What
Because
do you think about that tofu?
no, I don't like tofu.
Tofu.
And the other thing,
Processed.
now your mentor, he says leave corn alone.
Yeah, I don't like corn because just roughly about 92% of your corn and soy is genetically modified. And this is what they give to a lot of the animals that we eat. The chickens, the beef, the pork. A lot of our animals eat this genetically modified corn. And corn doesn't digest in the body the way that it should. It's very hard for your body to break down corn because it's a grain. And again, even the tofu is nothing but soy. And soy is very, very bad for us. It's a mineral inhibitor, but we do not need to be consuming any type of soy at all, especially women. You want you.
Look on my tofu out the door.
And I mean, I'm just not a fan of the taste of it. It tastes like a sponge. You know, I don't.
You can fix it up, man.
Oh yeah, most definitely you can fix it up, but
Yeah.
I don't. I've tasted it before and tried to fix it up. Went to a restaurant, tried to
great
fix it
flavor.
up, and it's just it tastes like you just chewing on a sponge.
I'm gonna put this in the tea.
Yeah, you can put it in the tea. You
Speaking
can put
of
licorice
tea.
root in the tea.
Speaking of tea,
All right, so-
hibiscus. Wait a minute. Hibiscus.
Go ahead.
Right, hibiscus is the next thing. So, what's your take on?
I love hibiscus tea. I love hibiscus tea. Now, what I do with my hibiscus, I get the actual flower.
That's what I was going to ask.
I put it in a mug, and I use the Keurig. And when I put the hot water in there, I give me a lemon, squeeze me a lemon over in there, give me a little bit of either raw honey or some Manuka honey, squeeze that up in there, and I take some cayenne pepper. Cayenne pepper is so good for the human body, and I sprinkle a little bit of cayenne pepper in there, stir it up real good. That's my drink.
That's
I'm-
cayenne. Bathroom right there, boy.
Pete's have it when they sell the actual flour.
Yes,
At-
the dry flour.
Here in Chicago, if you're located in Chicago, or just
Kayla, they not hear you.
Well, I get it from a health food store, so but yeah, the actual.
If you're in Illinois, Pete's, I don't know, it's Pete's Food Market, so they have like the flour
The dry
hibiscus.
flour.
And it's dried and then you can, put it in.
Yeah, and this is if you guys are wondering what I'm eating, what we are eating right now, it's licorice root, but it's well, you don't eat it.
Let me get a note.
You want
Let me get
another?
another.
It's licorice root. It's grape flavor.
Take some of these home.
Yeah, and some of you say you can put
He
it
got
in,
plenty of them.
yeah, you can put it in tea and make it happen. So
So the benefits of this.
he know the benefit. Go ahead and talk about the benefits of it, because he can go in detail. I know a
My
little
new
bit.
brother Tim. Ooh. Hit that sweet
Strong.
spot there. It makes you shiver.
I used to suck on these and drive the bus down the street.
Man, these are very, very good for the adrenals, man. We just talked about the adrenal glands.
Yeah.
Get you some licorice root. You can also get some licorice root tea as well. And you can chew on these, suck on these. These are very, very good. These are very good cleansers as well. And it's full of a lot of different amino acids as well. But these licorice root, oh my God. I love licorice root.
Yeah. I used to have when I was younger.
In this state right here, you can grind it up in your juicer.
Mm-hmm.
Just put it down there and it'll powder it up.
Yep.
And then you just make the tea with it.
Mm-hmm.
Put it in your little, your little thing to hold the tea, and just put it in that hot water, man. And put some of that unpasteurized.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Unpasteurized.
Yeah. So
There was I just want to share a comment. Really
go
quick.
ahead. Add the
B Rogers 85 says learn how to use mushrooms in place of soy products.
Okay.
My mom in here put you can also get the actual flour dried at Mariano or Pete's.
Mm-hmm.
And then Steven says mushroom tea is fire.
Yeah.
What about mushroom?
Mushroom
I think
coffee.
you said mushroom coffee.
Just
Yeah,
as
mushroom
good.
coffee.
I tried it.
Good substitute.
I tried it for
Go
the
to that
first
program.
time last week.
Okay.
Some mushroom coffee. Never tried it with the turkey tail and everything. Tastes just like coffee.
Now,
Actually, a friend let me taste it. I had to do a consultation for someone, and he had the coffee, the mushroom coffee. And I said, you know what? Let me try that. And I've never tried it before. It tastes just like coffee.
yeah. And
Tastes
that's good
just
for those
like
that are trying to
coffee.
wean themselves off of coffee.
I think Only Love is on here. Only Love, you just some mushroom coffee.
With somebody,
I don't drink coffee.
And I'm not a coffee drinker. I don't drink coffee. But that right there,
This week.
yeah.
Mushroom coffee, mushroom tea.
you said what else is added in there? Something tail?
I know turkey tail is in there.
Turkey tail, okay.
The mushroom turkey tail,
Okay.
that's in there as well. But I didn't get a chance to really read everything that was in there.
Yeah.
But there's a bunch of different mushrooms.
Oh man.
B Rogers 85 also share we use. So he's saying he or she is saying they use the powdered hibiscus flower for tea on the go, great for high blood pressure and relaxation.
Yes.
Yeah.
Even for cramps, if I'm not mistaken, I believe it's
My
hibiscus tea.
takeaway is
I'm
the
thinking
licorice
helps
root
with
and more. Give me some hibiscus.
Dry the dandelion, the flower before it turns into the white, the seed. Man, that's good for, man, you talking about some tea with the root?
Mm-hmm.
Man, that's good. I'm done.
All right. So with that, we have come up on our time. It's been a great time with our guest speaker here, Tim King. He is a holistic counselor. So right now, I'll give him the floor to, if you want to get in contact with him, he can share all his contact information so you can get in contact with them and go into further detail with counseling and whatever else that you need for your health journey. So if you will, go ahead and share your information with everybody.
What I want to say is that I love the dialogue that we have here, and that we actually can get people to come together and talk about these things when it comes to health issues, when it comes to mental issues. And we should be able to have these type of conversations in a group with any and everybody, at least, like you say, at least once a month, just to gain more knowledge and gain more information and understand the importance of maintaining great health. A lot of us take it for granted until it's too late. And like I said before, it's all about preventative maintenance. And if even if you're going through a certain type of ailment or a certain type of dis-ease, you want to be able to correct that from a natural perspective. Once you start to change the chemistry in the body, I'm telling you, I am a living testimony of it. Everything about you will change. Mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally, everything will start to change. Once you start to put that body back into a state of homeostasis, which means just balance. You have to have a balance. Mayat means balance. You have to have a balance. That's why you have a man, you have a woman. Balance. You have to have a balance. And I like the fact that we're able to come together and have these, I wouldn't say difficult conversations, but for some people it's an uncomfortable conversation, because now you're telling someone that, hey, I have to change this, and this to be healthy. And yes, accountability. But these are conversations that need to be had. We have to have these conversations, as much as you may not want to hear it. I'm sorry. The truth hurts. The truth hurts. And again, that comes with the lack of education, the lack of knowledge, the lack of our parents not teaching us these things because they didn't know. You don't want to hold them responsible for something because they can't necessarily teach you something that they don't know. But the fact that, I can be proactive, and it's a reason why I'm here, so I can put the information out there and I can educate people that wasn't able to educate me, and this happens all the time, all around the world, and it's a reason why children can't educate their parents. We learn from each other. Our parents can teach us things, and we can teach our parents things as well. But some people have that Oedipus complex, is that I'm the parent and I know this, I know that. We'll never know everything. We'll die and roll over and turn over in our graves 20 times before we know everything. So it's good to educate and teach and learn, because I don't know everything. I can learn from you, I can learn from you, and I'm always acceptable to learning new things. And I think this is one of the reasons why I'm able to thrive in what I do, because I'm able to sit back and just listen. That's one thing that a lot of us don't do. We don't like to listen. And it's very imperative for us to listen sometimes, even if you don't want to hear it, or even if you don't agree. We're all here to agree to disagree. There's no reason to start an argument. There's no reason to go back and forth. If you don't agree, you just don't agree. That's fine.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. If you all want to reach me, you can reach me on Facebook, Tim King 1427. You can reach me on Instagram as well. Instagram is Tim King. You can reach me by email, timking9687@yahoo.com.
Boy, slow that down. What?
Hey, we talking about slow down. You so fast too.
But I'm his sister, and I know we can say.
Yeah, we talk fast on here.
Yeah, talk fast.
So fast, but
Hey, they trying to come
Hey, sometimes I'll be at
Well,
home.
we also put all the information in the description too. So if you didn't get it, we'll definitely have it in the description. So you can
Some
reach
things
out
are
to
already in the chat, so you guys can scroll up, but definitely in the description.
us. Yeah.
If you want to just close out,
Oh, you can, we'll take the last one.
Okay, we're gonna take one last question.
We'll take one last question.
You know what?
You gotta do QR codes, cards.
Yeah,
'cause people
off the phone.
Yeah.
I'm starting to go digital too, because people will look at cards and throw them away, set them down.
I keep them right on my counter, man.
Tell us your age.
Tell us your age.
I look good.
Okay, we got one last question. Thank you all so much for tuning in, and thank you for those also tuning in at a later time. But the last question we're gonna have is from Kurt, and he says, "Can you elaborate on the benefits of seeds on the body?" I think he says on the body: chia seeds, hemp seeds, flax seeds, pumpkin, sunflower, etc. So as much as you can in like 2 seconds. Not 10. I'm not gonna lie.
Well, again, when it comes to seeds, hemp seeds and also chia seeds, I use hemp seeds and chia seeds. These seeds are kind of threw me off a little bit. But when it comes to chia, hemp seeds, watermelon seeds, pumpkin seeds, a lot of the seeds that they haven't taught us are have a lot of nutritional value. Like I said before about the watermelon seeds. Watermelon seeds are full of amino acids, are full of minerals. And then this is just something you can just go on Google, and you can Google this. You know, I'm not too fond of Google. You know, I use it every blue moon, but you know, I'm a reader. I like to read, and we're in a generation now where people like to Google everything, and everything on Google is not factual. Everything on Google is not true. You know, but when it comes to these seeds, you can look it up on Google. You can Google right now, go to Google and type in the benefits of watermelon seeds. It's going to tell you it's full of phytonutrients, minerals, amino acids, trace minerals, etc., etc. But a lot of us, we eat the watermelon seeds and we spit them out. And it's the same when it comes to chia seeds and it comes to hemp seeds. Hemp milk is very, very good. I like hemp milk. Some people may not like it, again, because of the texture. You know, they don't care for the hemp milk, but it is very, very beneficial, especially for women when it comes to hemp milk. Chia seeds, I put chia seeds in my juice. If I make a juice, I throw a few sprinkle of chia seeds in there, and chia seeds is a protein as well. It's an amino acid. So it's full of fiber as well. So you don't have to take Metamucil if you don't want to, you know. Yeah, it's very, you know, we just have, it's some more research that we have to do on these things, because you got some people that walk around and say, well, chia seeds is not good for you. You know, hemp seeds is not good for you, when hemp seeds clearly comes from a plant, you know, the marijuana plant. But exactly. But yeah, all of these different seeds, pumpkin seeds are very healthy for you as well, without the salt. I like pumpkin seeds. I don't really eat them like that, but pumpkin seeds are very healthy for you. They have a lot of good benefits as well. But again, the Most High, God does not create anything that cannot procreate itself.
You can go. No, you can go.
Huh?
You can go. I'm just doing something.
Oh. But again, God does not create anything that cannot procreate itself. All seeds are not healthy for you, because a lot of your seeds do contain have neurotoxins. Like, you don't want to eat the seeds in an apple. You don't want to eat the seeds in a sour sauce. You don't want to eat the seeds in an orange. A lot of these seeds have neurotoxins, and they're not meant for you to eat. They're meant for you to eat that fruit, take that seed, put it back in the ground.
What about grapes? Will I eat the seeds of grapes?
I love the seeds in grapes.
It said they took the seeds out the bananas.
That's why you eat plantains. Plantains.
Yeah.
Plantains.
It's hard to eat plantains without frying them, man.
Burro bananas.
Sauteing them, man.
You know, so but bananas do have potassium in them
It's
as
kinda
well.
hard to find. You can't find them with
Yeah.
seeds in it, man. They left. I think they got rid of them in the 60s.
Man, they messed up our food so much.
Yeah.
That's so that they can euthanize us.
Like you
You know,
said, change
people-
our DNA.
Yep. Alter the DNA.
That's it. That's it.
Well, we want to say thank you, everybody, for tuning in on The Perspective via the channel of Ruach and Emet with holistic counselor Tim King of Are We Eating Ourselves to Death? We appreciate all of the conversation both on YouTube, text messages to Anthony, and here in person. If you have any questions moving forward, we'll have everything in the description box in regard to how to reach out to Tim or myself or Anthony. And without further ado, we will close out with a song or video.
What's gonna be the SRH commercial?
Okay, we're gonna close out with Sustainability and Resource Hub commercial. This is a corporation that my husband and I are board members on and founders as well with 4 other people as well.
All right.
We are a sustainability and resource hub. Sustainability is defined as having 3 elements: environmental, economical, and social dimensions.
Our goal is to educate. Education leads to action, and action leads to transformation of our local communities. With sustainable solutions, we're able to decrease the number of poverty and inequalities within our neighborhoods.
We will educate through programs such as providing information for natural disasters, information sessions for solar energy, and providing basic needs for our elders and seniors, and so much.
Action is at the core of our organization. Teaching the next generation skills such as coding and providing STEM classes will help them in the next generation to bring their innovative ideas to the world of technology and green energy. As we advance in pursuing these skills, the innovative solutions to our energy and climate crisis will emerge.
We are a group of passionate people who work harmoniously to bring our related expertise to create an organization that will inspire generations to come.
We are
SRH,
Providing resources
for a more sustainable future.